Nat Nui about to go at it with Mumford, two of the all-time greats, and up they fly. Nat Nui gets his own clearance. It's his second game back from being out with injury. Kennedy coming off a hot game last week. Didn't want to go for it himself. Haynes got a handball away. Williams shows some poise yet again. Cornelio. Griffin. Smith's outside and he uses him in some space. Who does he want? Patton led at him. He ignored it. He goes to Cameron. Delightful pass.
Beautifully weighted, Dwayne. Devon Smith, he had choices to make because he had the run carry, give a hand pass out wide. They had numbers running at the defence, but he also had forwards pushing into space. And it's much better to hit that target by foot, hit a mark, and give a player a set shot. And Jeremy Cameron found a little bit of space. That's a perfect kick from Devon Smith.
44 goals this season for the perfect start.
Kicked it where he ran, didn't he?
Yeah.
Certainly strength of the Giants, especially the last month, the way they transition the ball from defence to attack. And when they do go inside 50, they are the best in the competition in transferring those entries into scores.
Hearn drives it to Schofield. What a kick. Perfect delivery. Hands it up. Hutchings. Gaff. And Darling gets a touch.
Joel Patfull on Darling.
And Lacroix, the short option. So they had a couple, had a long and a short. And when Lacroix's hot, he can be the hottest goal kicker in the comp.
Yeah,
3 goals against Freo last week.
Yeah, certainly on the road, Dwayne. That's where he's had a lot of criticism. He's struggled on the road. Mark Lacroix certainly been a huge difference in his numbers. This will be a huge start for him on the road.
31 goals from his 19 games this season, taking plenty of time to steady. 6 goals is most that he's kicked this year. And that's across the face as well. So both teams have had a chance and both teams have blown it. The Giants have come into this winning their past 4 in a row. Their last loss was here. Their last time here to Collingwood. Short kick in, Cornelio. Lysette comes at him, some pressure on that kick. Nat Nui with the fist, but got the players down. Green, Patton, Griffin, Shield, Griffin. Shepherd from Mumford gives him some space to use. Cameron floats in, but the big fists come and crush it out of play.
Yeah, Will Schofield's got the job on Jeremy Cameron. Very mobile type.
Nat Nui and Mumford. Little flick back to Steve Johnson. Uncharacteristic fumble from him. Almost played for the free. Prentice tried to get it out.
So it's interesting looking at the way Barrass and McGovern are working down back. McGovern calls Barrass to go on a pattern, and then he plays on the small, which allows him to float off and be the third tall.
Lobb, who got the tap down to start this.
And that's what he does.
McGovern.
So well.
They're having a good season. Again, McGovern. Turnover. Patfull.
Yeah, Patfull looked to zone off and help out. Certainly Josh Kennedy, help out his man Phil Davis. Playing on Darling now at the moment.
Now he thumps it in the Patton Cameron direction, and Barrass gets his knuckles on it this time and sends it over the boundary.
It's been a good find for West Coast, Barrass, Brownie.
Yeah, he has.
He's had a very good year. The more you see him play, the more confident you feel that he's really going to hold down one of these spots.
He judges the flight of the ball really well.
West Coast Eagles haven't had a NAB Rising Star nomination this year. He is eligible, hasn't had one yet. Barrass, maybe before the end of the year. Cornelio back in. Johnson, Yo, couldn't wrap him. Darling does. Well, third time lucky for the West Coast, holding the ball.
Yeah, he would have been disappointed with the first tackling attempt, Elliot Yo, but came back with a little bit extra on that second attempt.
Gaff.
I think that'll be the game, Jason and Brownie. I think that if they can run from those stoppages and get their handball game going, the Giants, they'll be too slick on the outside. Pressure needs to be big from the Eagles.
Butler looks up. He's got Kennedy, puts it out in front, and he's got it under some pressure.
Beautiful kick. And what we've seen also early are the Eagles prepared to use the corridor. We saw it The first opportunity they got was a kick out from Hearn that went long down the middle, and on that occasion, coming out of defence, they found Hearn at half-back in the corridor and ran it through there before delivering to Kennedy. So GWS need to be very mindful that they've got foot skills that can really use that corridor to devastating effect the Eagles.
Coming off a 7-goal game against Fremantle last week. Couple of skip steps, and that's across the face as well. He leads the race for the Coleman, of course, with 67.
Gave himself some breathing space last week, Dwayne, but he wouldn't want to miss too many.
Franklin 61, and Tom Lynch is a chance as well with 61.
A couple of handy players chasing.
And both yet to play this round. Shaw. Mumford got a hand on it, and Green called for an unrealistic leap.
Didn't need to do that, Toby Green.
McGovern. Wasn't sure which option to go for. Goes to the pocket and pick off mark. Haynes.
He'll play an important role today, Haynes, just dropping off, helping with those intercept marks, helping his big defenders.
And he is having an expansive year. He's let everybody know who he is this year. It's his forte at half-back, and
he doesn't get the mentions that McGovern does, but he plays a similar type role.
Coming of age this year. It's been fantastic to watch as well for Nick Haynes. Early draft pick, so the Giants knew what they were getting when they drafted him. Yet another of their early draft picks. He was a pick 7. So free kick to Ward. To Patful. Space inside. Shaw's screaming for it out wide. Shield might have to go to him. Turnover. So no one's inside 50. Had to give it off. Tunbridge, and he's messed it up. He didn't have a lot forward to go. Had nothing forward to go to. So maybe cut him some slack.
He did everything right, and even the hand pass was the right option. It was just poor execution, but he's followed it up with a good tackle.
And he'll be keen to play well against the Giants. He was a Giants player. They had access to him as a 17-year-old. Yo floats in. Slap down. Kennedy gets a chance this time. Bends it back. And bends it back too far.
Phil Davis has to be really careful. Josh Kennedy's strength, he's also at ground level. We know he leads up and leads hard to the ball, but keeps his feet well, recovers the football really well, and he's kicked quite a lot of goals from ground level this year, Jace.
Mumford slips. Lysette holds his ground and gets it, but Lobb's got him. And Lobb made an interesting call this week, said he might want to go back to Perth at the end of this season, a trade back. That'd be huge if West Coast or Fremantle could get him. West Coast already looked like getting Ballantyne from the reports. Pritis gets it on the boot and it's wide.
And then Shane Mumford came out in today's paper and said that Lobb loves it up here in Sydney. So it's a few games going on there, Dwayne.
He can play, Rory Lobb, and everybody knows it.
And watch for him playing further up the field as well. He's been playing a lot on the wing, playing almost as a second tall, a ruck rover, if you like.
Just having a look at Tom Scully, he's actually trying to get the negative role on Sharrod Wellingham at the moment, trying to keep him accountable as he runs forward and challenge him to get goal side like he's doing right now.
And Lobb's just taken that mark under pressure just to prove to everybody how good a season he is having and how much he would be worth. Short pass to Kennedy, and it must be said there's 3 Kennedys out there today, so be wary of that. The Giants have brought 2 back into their team today, Matthew Kennedy and Adam Kennedy.
It's a beautiful kick.
Little nudge off, but Haynes can't take off. And Ward under some pressure.
He's been terrific this year, Callum Ward.
The battle of the buns. He got away from Schofield, sends it to the pocket. Patton from 4 deep. That'll do.
This is what the Giants want to see. They need to see Jonathan Patton crashing packs, using his bulk and size and strength and taking those big contested marks.
Wipes the hands. Shouldn't make any mistake from here. The first goal of the afternoon. Gee, made the goal umpire work, but it's there. There's the opener.
Yeah, no, well done there by Jonathan Patton. He didn't get sucked into leading up into traffic. Just watch this here, Jace. He knew the ball was going to go in long, played to his strengths, and a bit earlier on, in that play, because it took her quite a while to develop. What young forwards can tend to do and what desperate forwards can do is they lead up into traffic, and then when the long ball goes in, Jonathan Patton's not there, but he was in the correct position, he was patient, he waited for that long ball and then used his size and strength to complete the contested mark.
There's a little laugh.
Developing nicely over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, that first season was almost over before it started. That knee surgery that was required, went overseas to have that. A few questions as to whether he would come back as a pick one and show what he's got. He's started to show what he's got now, Jonathan Patton. Wellingham. Run down by Griffin, dropped it. Prittis flicks it wide. Gaff. Turnover. Williams also having a great season. Spears that to Johnson.
Yeah, I think Williams in all Australian contention, Dwayne.
Stevie J has been a magnificent addition. Heads to the pocket. G. Green overcooked his leap there. McGovern, Prittis, and content to take out. I think you wrote about Steve Johnson's value today, Brownie.
Yeah, I did. He's been a fantastic pickup for the Giants, and obviously a legend at Geelong, but he's been a great pickup here and has given them some swagger in the forward line. I'm sure you'd agree with that, Jace.
Yeah, I did read the article, and it was very, very Stevie J, wasn't it? A little bit proppy. Sharad Wellingham, just after this tackle here, got the left leg caught under the body of the tackler.
And he's got some ankle history as well with that bizarre trampoline accident a couple of years ago. Prittis. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hard hit of the contest. Shuey had a chance, missed his shoe. Sheed dumped by Griffin. And another ball up. Dom Sheed played the last 3 games now. His 3rd game of the season. Finding his feet. Hutchings slams it towards the wing. Good attack line set. He just made it his, but he's wrapped up by Tomlinson, and that's pretty much gone, you'd think. Good tackle. Ward pulls his kick last second. Green. Just pokes it wide. Cornelio. Within range, but a tough kick. But when you've got 15 players in front of you inside defensive 50 blocking it up, probably take the kick you can get.
This young man would just about be my vote for leading their best and fairest the season that he's had. Amongst a host of stars, he does his job week in, week out.
Another early pick, a pick 2. It's his 5th season, so he has really grown this year as well, and that's just across the face. Only a behind.
And he always does jobs on opposition stars. Lined up early on Luke Shuey today. But he finds a way to get his 30 touches a week as well.
He's most ever's 34, but he hovers around that mark, as you mentioned. Nat Nui Mumford and Barras. Mumford goes back in. Ward fighting hard. Patfull to set it up again. Kennedy to Kennedy. Went for the chest mark in the end. Probably not the best option. Devon Smith. Could have got his hands out.
Just having a look down here on the bench, you've got Josh Kelly, who started on the field. He played the first 4 minutes and then come for a rotation to the bench. He's been stuck here for 9 minutes. He just can't get back onto the ground, the gun midfielder.
And Cameron stuck down with him, kicking. Having a rest, the big man.
Geez, have a look at those boots too. The bright orange boots of Josh Kelly's.
Yeah, you can see those from the moon, I'm told.
I reckon you could.
They are super bright.
Phil Davis has got the same ones. I don't mind the bright colours.
Shuey. Prittis. Back to Shuey. Darling slung. No free. Shaw got there in front of Kennedy and cleverly accidentally knocked it out.
Yeah, good support there. He's short. Josh Kennedy was going to be out the back.
So when Lysette doesn't play forward, Brownie, as that extra tall, it allows Tomlinson to go to Darling, and then Patfull drops back onto Mark LeCras.
Exactly right.
Nat Nui slams it to the front. Mumford goes hard with his body. Griffin wrapped up, going nowhere.
And this is what they do. They tend to play a one-on-one defence, GWS, but they're obviously always trying to free up Heath Shaw first and then Joel, Patfull and Haynes will look to support the aerial contests.
Yo going nowhere. First meeting between these two teams this year, Giants and the West Coast. Might not be the last. They could well be back here in a month's time. 4th and 6th at the start of this round, lining up in a game that both teams know is going to be critical. Both teams will play finals. It just depends on where they start their finals from. Shield a little fumble. Kelly back on the tap. Smith got back. Williams found some space. There wasn't a lot there. Davis was his outlet. Kennedy slams it on the boot. Green to the back, all the way at the back in space. He can go for home if he wants. Opens it up. Stevie J, the sidestep, the goal. Stevie J style.
Geez, a big kick by Kennedy.
Well, I reckon they made that a little harder than it needed to be, Brownie, in the end.
Well, in the end they did, but let's have a look at the kick that set it up. Kennedy streamed off half back. That would have been a 60-metre kick. It just seemed to keep going and playing into Toby Green's hands beautifully. Would have liked to have seen him take the set shot, Jace.
I mean, he could have thrown it on the boot when he first got it. But why not run around a player and then hook it over on the left, just to add a little bit of flavour.
Let's have a look at the Stevie Johnson career so far with his goals per season. 2010, fantastic year, 63 goals. Pretty consistent there in the middle, but...
Well, this is his best season for 5 years, Brandon, goal-wise.
It's been terrific.
488 goals in total now for Steve Johnson. Ball on down to Whitfield. Kennedy, Haynes, turns it over. Marston, Kennedy. That's a pretty good delivery to Lacroix in the pocket.
Well, we just saw a weakness there, didn't we, coming out of defence. Nick Haynes, no confidence on his opposite foot. A very awkward-looking kick. Quick turnover, and you get punished going back the other way.
Good reaction there by Mark Lacroix. He looks up and about here in the first quarter, Lacroix. Joel Patfull has a big history playing on Lacroix. Certainly at the Brisbane Lions, used to do a good job on him.
He's already had a sighter, not from this spot, but knows what it's going to do through the air. It's going to push across the face. Another behind. 3 behinds to that side. Out of their 4. Just the required 15 only. Davis. Kelly in those boots. Kennedy. Kelly. Scully. Cameron the target. Manhandled with Butler. Lays the tackle.
That was terrific by Jeremy Cameron. It was 2-on-1 situation. He created a draw. That's all you can ask for a key forward. Just do not get beaten. He got the ball to ground and fought hard for that.
Hutchings can't keep that alive, and we'll get another ball in.
Just having a look at the tackle pressure of the GWS Giants. 17 tackles to 9 at the moment. Their work rate's first class. But inside that forward 50, they've made 7 tackles to the West Coast 1, getting repeat opportunities and keeping the pressure poured on the back 6 of the Eagles.
And a good mark, Haynes.
Yeah, he does that really well, Dwayne. He read the ball quickly, got off his man to help out and to take that intercept mark.
Oh, Jack.
Shaw. Whitfield.
Play on.
Good delivery to Kennedy.
Play on. To me.
And he pulled his kick last second, and it works. Devon Smith.
Picking them apart with foot skills is a very good shot for goal, Devon Smith. Kingy, just quickly, Ryan Griffin, has he got a problem with the snout?
He's just getting the nose reworked, Jace. If you play midfield long enough, this will happen to you at some stage. It's not a great look. But you're right, the kicking efficiency at 82% GWS. They just don't give the ball back. And the West Coast are having their issues. They're under 50% at the moment, which is just far too easy to defend.
Good strike. Got the distance. Got the accuracy. Devon Smith's on the board.
Yeah, having a good year, Dwayne. Really good. Obviously, a very long shot at goal. He contributes so much to this tackling pressure that Kingy's spoken about in the forward half, especially that forward 50. He's their main contributor to that area of the game, and the reason why the Giants are able to lock the ball in their forward 50 so often because of this man. But he's also a terrific kick, as we saw then on that shot on goal. Really good athlete, a nice completion. Again, the foot skills of the Giants shown off there beautifully. It's been an area that's let them down a little bit in the last month.
Doing well around the stoppages, West Coast, and they're 3 and zip in the centre clearances, but it's not translating into goals.
Big thump down. Kennedy read it well. He knew it was coming because of the lopsided bounce. Steve Johnson thought about the tap on. Hill flicks the handball back. Sheed, Pritis, arms free. Hill. And he just bangs it on the boot. Wide. Kennedy, Davis. Davis a little nudge out. Content to see that out.
And the way this game has started reflects exactly why those early shots of goal are so important. So we've seen a miss from LaCroix set shot, a missed set shot from Kennedy, and a snap miss from Kennedy. All of a sudden you find yourself 3 goals down under a bit of pressure on the scoreboard.
Nat Nui, Mumford. Patfull, Shuey. Mumford goes back. Kennedy, sidestep was good. Hearn stands under it. Kennedy flicked it away. Through legs again. Shepherd to Nat Nui, who floats in.
Got to go back and kick this one, Nick Nat. Gee, I don't know why. Maybe I haven't seen him for a while. Almost looks heavier than normal. Looks big. Not suggesting he's unfit or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, he's been out for a while, and
maybe he spent a lot of time in the gym. He looks big.
That tends to be what happened, especially when you have lower leg injury. He had Achilles problems, Jace, so he would have spent a hell of a lot of time doing upper body weights.
He missed 6 weeks with that Achilles heel problem. This is his 2nd game back, and probably the white shorts not doing him any favours either. And he slams it through for the West Coast Eagles first.
Yeah. Very important coming back into the side, Nick. Now, can the Eagles find their form of 2015? It's going to come down to this guy and his dominance. We often talk about him, especially in the centre bounce. He's able to get up there because he's such a good jump, Jace. He's able to get some really clean clearances for the West Coast midfielders. They've been able to do that again today. Have a look at the difference when Nick Nat is playing before that yellow line and then after the yellow line. Obviously, the difference in the clearance differential there in the centre square.
Already they're up 9-5 at the moment, and you just get the feeling that the West Coast midfielders would be dirty every time Nick Nat gets injured because those numbers suffer big time.
Lysette thrown into the ruck now. Mumford got the tap down. Shield will get the clearance. Thought about the handball back. Drives it forward. Cameron. Schofield got the fist away. Kelly caught, but he manufactured a kick. And it rolls its way out.
It's an interesting discussion, boys, because during that period that Nick Nat was out, they were a better score differential team than they've ever been for the last 2 years. They're the #1 team in the competition over that period because they defended the opposition's hit-out work and clearance work better than they've ever done.
Yet when they win the clearances, Kingy, it doesn't translate into scores for them.
Absolutely.
Bizarre.
I think what you'll find, the West Coast midfielders tend to get a bit more aggressive when they know Nick Nat's in there, and they tend to maybe spread a bit wider for the hit-outs, so they're not as close and in tight to lay that defensive pressure if they do lose the hit-outs.
Darling and Kennedy at that contest. Mumford waiting down for the crumb. Had it but lost it. Darling gets it. 30-metre handball to Kennedy. Does the flick on work. Hill wanted to open it up. Knocked out. In fact, it was Tunbridge whose kick was knocked out. Back into play.
Good pressure early from GWS. 20 tackles to 10 they lead.
Shepherd gets there, tried the half volley. Or caught high by Mumford. Played every game the last couple of years. Brad Shepherd, a good season. Sends it in the Nat Nui direction from a stand start. He tried to plug it from behind, but lobbed front spot.
Yeah, one of the best contested marks in the competition. You have a look at his build. He's quite trim, it's fair to say, Jace. Doesn't hand itself that well to taking big contested marks, but he's one of the best in the competition, along with Tom Lynch from the Gold Coast Suns.
That was a beauty standing tall in front of Nick Nat Nui.
Yeah.
You've got to pay a man in front there as well. Good decision from the umpire.
Green. Sees Whitfield in the middle. Mumford took it away from him.
Geez, they're not afraid to have a crack at their kicks today, the Giants.
Shield takes off. He's got Cameron leading short. He pokes the kick. McGovern left his man, which was Cameron. Took the legs out. No free. Williams. Sizzler.
Low torque.
And Schofield takes the mark.
He was desperate, Dylan Shield, for Jeremy Cameron to lead up at him, and he didn't do it. And that's why he kept hanging on the ball looking for options.
Nat Nui with a big fist, but knocked it down to Williams. Toward Griffin. Again, finding some space. Wants to go with a short pass rather than bang it. And thumped away by Hearn. Stevie Johnson lurking. Kept it alive. That would be a miracle goal. It'd just be a normal Stevie Johnson kind of goal, actually. Hearn heads short, thumped away. Still alive for the Giants. Gaff rolls it to Marston. Wrapped up, dragged down. Didn't have Pryor.
Thank you. Thanks, mate. Coming back.
Yeah, Brownie talked about Steve Johnson and his swagger. He brings enough swagger for 4 or 5 of his teammates as well.
Too.
Handball inside. Marston from Shuey. And he misses Kennedy with the kick. Haynes cuts it off. Davis out wide. Full of run, Green. He's got Kelly out wide. He fakes to not give it to him, and then he gives it to him. Steve Johnson's over the back. Pokes it to the pocket. Worst of all possible options. Out on the full.
Jerry's here. Come all this way. Get it straight up and down. Wait there, wait for the call.
Giving plenty of instructions, the umpires, making sure the players understand what's expected of them.
Yeah, it is amazing when they do more coaching than sometimes necessary. Scully to Mumford playing out of full forward. Cameron nearly stole it. Ward does steal it and posts it.
Jace, just have a look at how these two teams are counter-attacking. You've got the Giants who are prepared to kick that 30-metre, I hate saying the term lower your eyes, but that hit-up target towards centre-half forward. They've taken 14 marks in the forward half. The West Coast don't seem to have that player at the moment. They've only taken 5 in the forward half.
Yep. Yeah, they need Darling to be that link man. They, I think, at times go to Josh Kennedy too often when he's outnumbered.
Tunbridge little fumble. Is in trouble now. Knocks it down. Yo. Numbers inside for the Giants. Griffin had to wait an eternity.
And they're getting picked off. This is exactly what's happening with Kennedy. You've seen Haynes do it. You'll see Davis do it. They're just reading the play so well.
Tries to hit a target. Tunbridge gets there. Gaff. Yo. Tunbridge in some space to use it wisely. Short. Cripps gets his opportunity to find a target. Bangs it long, hoping for Darling. Davis got back.
They know where to peel off their man really well there. That was a good example, Dwayne, and Phil Davis getting off his man quickly.
Kelly. Again, foot skills delightful to watch. Sits it on Shields' head this time. And Hutchings takes the saving mark with 6 seconds left. So quarter time, spotless stadium in outer Sydney. Only 2 home and away rounds left for these two teams after this contest. It's the business end of the season. Important game for both. The West Coast Eagles could finish as high as top or as low as 8th heading to the finals. That's how big this is. And 11 points the margin at quarter time. Giants have never beaten the West Coast Eagles. They've been smashed every one of their 4 meetings so far. But the Giants are a different team in 2016. They've grown before our eyes. They've added players like Steve Johnson. And they're a huge threat for the 2016 flag. The West Coast Eagles also a contender. They want to get motoring today to steal a victory from here. They've got some key forwards, the Giants. Here's one of our great key forwards, Jonathan Brown, talking about one of the Giants.
Yeah, that's right, Dwayne. Now, we speak about Jeremy Cameron, a lot of very talented player there with Amon Buchanan, the forwards coach. One of the criticisms of Jeremy Cameron, he doesn't lead hard enough at the ball carrier at times. So we just see him right in the right corner. Away he goes, does the right thing there, gets his man back inside. He's about to start his lead up. Now what Dylan Shields is looking for is a long, hard, straight lead up on that angle. Instead, Cameron leads to the side and it's a half-hearted lead. Let's see this unfold. It makes it difficult for Shield to kick it to him, Jason.
Yeah, virtually impossible. I think Jeremy's giving himself the little out. He's having a bob each way that he can double back and get it over the top or out the back if the lead isn't honoured. But he needs to hit up lead hard and be used, and I'm sure players like Dylan Shield will find him more often than not.
Have you seen it from your angle, David King?
Well, just their pressure's been fantastic. 21 tackles to 11. I think they've had 30 more disposals than the West Coast because they can't kick the ball. They can't excite and get their game going, the West Coast Eagles. Kicking the ball at 56%, largely due to their pressure around stoppages and their pressure in the forward 50. It's been absolutely first class by the Giants.
So Nat Nui and Mumford about to resume hostilities.
Stevie Johnson coming off the back of the square at this centre bounce, and he'll come streaming through the middle of the ground looking to pick it up on the way through.
11 points the margin to start this second term. Mumford into Nat Nui, Griffin straight down, Mumford, Williams, and he bursts a big torpedo long. Cameron's under it, Barras got there with a fist. Ward, it's still trouble, Smith. 50 out, goes with the pocket pass, Green, couldn't collect it and go. Knew what he wanted to do. Gee, Shields just overran it. He knew what he wanted to do. Devon Smith caught, dragged down. Cornelio with the don't argue. Lob gets a chance to put the kick away.
Touched off the boot. They're celebrating, but it's going to be short-lived. Oh, we get a review.
So it's been called as a touch.
Well, that's interesting because the umpire called touch off the boot and signalled touch off the boot as it was in the air, but now goes for a score review.
Yeah, maybe he was fooled by the celebration from the Giants players. They celebrated as if it wasn't touched.
Well, it's like he's second-guessing himself.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to tell conclusively from that, isn't it?
Well, it's hard to overturn it from that. But he's going to.
Yeah, the Giants have been fantastic in the first quarter with their pressure. Let's just have a look at this. They had 20-odd tackles in that first quarter, so on track for 80 to 100 tackles for the game, which is a huge number, Jason. And considering they were a fair way in front on the scoreboard, to be leading the tackle count's terrific.
And having more possessions, that's an indictment on the work rate of the West Coast Eagles. Because if you haven't got the ball, you should be pressuring, chasing and tackling, and they're not doing enough of it. But GWS showing a pretty comprehensive work rate at the moment.
Scoreboard pressure on the coast early.
You can see bottom of screen, Rory Lobb starting up on a wing. They're using him as a tall, mobile midfielder almost because he does have a very good tank.
Shield caught by Sheed.
And then you get the opportunity for him to come in and be second man up here at some of these ball-ups.
Dylan Shield also back into the Giants lineup today as Shuey's dragged down. He missed last week with a groin problem.
Just have a look at this setup here, Jace. You've got Shepherd, who's holding back for the Eagles as a loose man, and Callum Ward rolling up and effectively being an extra midfielder now. That'll cause problems if they can get their handball game going on the outside, the Giants.
Two-time premiership star with the Kangaroos, David King downstairs. Mumford. Shuey. Dragged down, no push in the back, free, and another ball up. We've had a few in a row. Big pack around it, throw a blanket over 15. Lob, third man up. Shuey got his arms free, flicked it back. Sheed hacked it away and dragged down by Yo.
Yeah, good mark. He's quite strong in that situation.
Short pass to Kennedy, just missed him. Lysette was in the vicinity. And here's the scramble. West Coast have players around it if it comes out. It's taking the time to get out. Smith feeds it out, but here's one of them that are around it. Shepherd bangs it back, full forward. Kennedy bouncing ball. Hill gets a chance. Dragged down, didn't have it.
No.
Might still get a crack at it. Kennedy of the Giants variety. Williams, last line of defence. Patfull Nothing to go to. Sits it a bit.
This is a good kick.
Outstanding use of the body in the end by Green. And he rolls it forward. Jeremy Cameron looked up to see what was around before he gathered it. Gave it back to Green. Superb movement. Steve Johnson lurking. He took 3 steps and then decided no. Now he goes inside to Shield, who leaves it for Griffin.
Well, one thing we know about Stevie Johnson is he has great vision. He sees the whole field ahead of him, and he saw where the hole was, where the players were running into, and they could have raffled it, Shield or Griffin. Griffin takes it. You can see the nose plugs in, trying to stop the flow of blood. Could well have a broken nose from the knock.
For number 5 for the Giants. And they've kicked the first 2 of this second quarter.
That's right, Stevie J, very influential in that play, squared it up, but also at the centre bounce. Let's just watch what Stevie J's doing. He's starting at the back of the centre square, so coming from half-back, here he is. He's going in a very, very attacking direction. Just watch how this unfolds. Not worried about defensive pressure here. He's just going 100 mile an hour straight through, looking for that clearance. Didn't get the opportunity there, but that's causing some problems for the Eagles. That's another one that they need to keep an eye on at those centre clearances.
23 points the margin. It's getting dangerously large for the West Coast, who've had their troubles away from home this year. Nat Nui flicks it back, but to Ward. And he drives the bomb. Lob from 4 deep. Barras got hands on it. Hits the carpet. Butler back into the lineup this week. Gets himself a touch. Prentice bounced past a mast and put him into a jam.
Yeah, good pressure again. Didn't give the Eagles time to rebound. They were quick gives, and the player receiving the ball was immediately under pressure.
And free kick's been found. Hold on Ward. Umpire furthest from the action paid that one. Short pass. Cameron dives. Hit the grass.
He dived from a long way away trying to make up the ground, Jeremy Cameron.
That was good. A good hard lead though with the ball carrier. He's got tremendous speed,
Yep.
Cameron. Tremendous speed. It's good to see when he uses that.
Mumford knocked it down. Cripps slams it away, and it'll be coming back.
Really surprised by the West Coast Eagles' lack of composure so far. Their ball use has really dropped away. I haven't seen it as poor as this for a long time. They're going at 50% by foot, and their handball game is ineffectual. Only 20 handballs so far.
Davis to Williams, who launches to the pocket. And 4 players launch for it. You feel they're at breaking strain early in this one, the West Coast. And it's some magic from somebody. Griffin, Johnson. Speaking of magic, near side. Hasn't got as much as he once had, Stevie J, but he's still got a reasonable bag of tricks. Hearn. And he's uncertain. Darling, the lead-up player. Haynes got there. Good hands from Darling.
Keep coming, one more. Back, 1 metre.
He's a long way from where he'd like to be.
Move it on. Play on. Good.
Whitfield from behind, knocked it down. Ward, Patfull, and they'll reset. Scully has time and space. He drives it long to Cameron. Floats in with a fist in the end. Darling got there for the crumb. Gaff.
Good.
Tunbridge.
Hold there, push out. Good.
The inside kick, Marston.
Gee, it was an aggressive kick, but a beauty.
Yeah, fortune favours the brave there. He chip passes to Kennedy.
Now, that's the difference, Dwayne. That's exactly what we talk about with Jeremy Cameron. That's the easy way to get the ball. Straight up the corridor, hard at the ball user, and he gets on it on the lead. And that's how Josh Kennedy gets a lot of his goals. I think Jeremy Cameron has another level to go to if he can start doing that more.
That was a great kick, great centering ball, set up a score, Jace.
Yeah, an aggressive kick from Tunbridge, wasn't it? It was a beauty.
Been aggressive in the last couple of minutes, the Eagles, with their attacking kicks.
No need to tell West Coast fans how important this kick is. He crushed it, but he's kicked it across the face slightly behind. Distance was never a drama, but he's still goalless, the leader in the race for the Coleman. Shaw. To himself, Lacroix comes at him. Pressure on the kick, but Kennedy.
How good a kick is that? And the confidence to undertake a kick like that.
To Smith. Well, Lysette made him earn it. Did he get ball or arm? He got arm, according to the umpire.
He got a little clip on the head.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Kennedy might get there. Goes up, couldn't mark it. Gathered his own crumb. Landed like a cat. Goes to Lacroix. Needs to collect it. Still time. Opens up the angle. And a rare mistake for the Giants. Ends in a West Coast goal.
Yeah, there's no need for that by Devon Smith to cross the ball. When you're crossing a ball, especially into the centre corridor, Jace, you don't want it to be any longer than 25 or 30 metres. Have a look at Devon Smith's kick.
Yeah.
It goes almost 50 metres. You can make up a lot of ground to defend that while that ball's in the air.
So if you're going to kick it that far, your player has to be 30 or 40 metres clear. But I reckon Mark Lacroix got really nervous when that ball bobbled into the pocket. And all of a sudden, instead of running into an open goal, he's had to dodge around one player and then hook it around on the left foot.
Just still need to play the percentages, the Giants. No need for those types of kicks. They've been on top all over the ground. Devon Smith to be disappointed with that kick.
And they keep the momentum going. Kelly, little 1-2, Shield, Kennedy, flicks it back to Haynes. Sits it on Scully's head a little. He used the hands.
Yep.
Had to be a free kick. Cripps sizes up his options. He can go back if he wants to. Yo, the leaper, forced to thump it out.
Geez, they're on track. The Giants are on track for nearly a world record game for disposals, Jace. They're up to over 200 disposals now for the game. We're only halfway through the second quarter. Could make it to 500 at this rate.
Over 200?
Sorry, 130. We've mixed that one up. 71 kicks and 59 handball. Those a nice ratio, Jace.
I think you added disposals.
I did too. I've added them together. But they're certainly on top, 130 to 89.
Yo with the flick down to Shuey, who scoots away to Lacroix, who's got his mojo back. This could be a free kick downfield.
Mark, you're 50 metres from here. Intentional hold. He could
So 50 downfield.
That's the intent. That's an old rule that we haven't seen invoked too often. That's when you hold a player that's trying to run on and get involved in the play. It's a 50-metre penalty. More often than not, we just see advantage waved on.
Yep.
It's the Gary Ablett rule from the grand final, isn't it, Jason?
Yeah, every time he got a possession, they dumped him, even if it was 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds after. So Shaw arguing that because Lacroix played on, it should have been play on, but the umpire arguing back that Lacroix didn't know he was getting 50. And Lacroix gets a chance for 2 goals in a row. And the West Coast Eagles have their mojo back.
It's been pretty good in the forward line today, Mark Lacroix, Jace. It's his second goal for the day, and he's moving around quite well. Stevie J having a little bit of a laugh. The direct matchup has been Joel Patfull mainly. Certainly been able to find a hell of a lot of space today. There's the free kick, or the grab. Downfield it was.
Didn't need to do it because he was behind him and really wasn't going to get ahead of the footy to receive it again, Shuey.
That'll at least remind them of the rule. Mark Lacroix with the last 2 goals of the game. Nat Nui back in the middle. Lob against him. Nat Nui superb. Down to Sheed. They get the clearance. Good pluck, Darling. And he might be within range.
He's a good kick of the foot if he wants.
Hands it off to Yo instead. He spears to the pocket to Kennedy. Had to go from behind. Knocked down to Kennedy, and he kicks it out on the full.
At his time again, Josh Darling, I reckon he probably goes back and has a shot there.
Poke pass, Kennedy's direction. Hill from 4 deep. Shield, look away handball, and he looked away at the wrong time. Kennedy moved. Yo.
See, they've blitzed it a bit, the Eagles, and they're putting enormous pressure on. That's a great kick.
We just held it long enough as well.
That is a brilliant left foot
And
kick.
50. Gee, I thought that was a legitimate attempt at a spoil within a second of the mark being taken, but they had a couple go against them already in this game, the West Coast, so they've had a couple of breaks in the last minute.
That'll get him going. Josh Kennedy, he'd love to cop a 50 like that.
3 goals in a row to the West Coast.
It'll be an interesting one to look at on the replay because it just looked like it was incidental. This is the turnover kick from Kennedy. And then Elliot Yeo just wheels onto the left, and this is a bullet. That's beautiful. That's a really harsh decision. I mean, it was the one motion. You can argue it's late, and it certainly looks late in slow motion, but in fast motion, not quite as late. It's a nice little break that he's got there. 7 goals at the moment. Of course, Lynch and Franklin still to have their opportunities to add to their tallies, but he's off and running. He wants to get into the 70s tonight, Josh Kennedy.
Absolutely. He won the Coleman last year with 80.
It's great consistency, isn't it, to back it up again like that?
Absolutely. Shepherd. They are up and running right now, the West Coast, although Lacroix drops that. Still alive for them. Tunbridge goes back, picks it up. Little shrug off and drives it. Darling lurking inside 50, half held, no free. Handballs to his own advantage. Tomlinson gets back. Scully, Davis. Now Hearn in a one-on-one. He protects Shuey.
Yeah, good effort there. Well protected.
Wellingham thumps it up. Hill, Kennedy, Darling all down there. Lacroix lurking for the crumb. Williams. The Giants, Kennedy. Kelly scrambles it away. Tough ball. Good tackle.
Great tackle.
Outstanding wing tackle by Green. Almost worth letting him get it if you know you're going to lay that kind of tackle. Ward, Shield, Ward.
He wasn't even ready for it.
Griffin. Now Cameron leads back at Griffin. Fantastic.
Now, the clever thing about that, and we get to see it unfold, is that Jeremy Cameron actually didn't lead. He just pointed where he wanted Ryan Griffin to kick the footy. And then at the right time, just as it was leaving the boot of Ryan Griffin, he then doubled back to that spot that it was going to.
That's why they can win the flag, Jace. That handball work there through the centre corridor was the work of a premiership contender.
And this has the feel of a finals preview. As I mentioned earlier, these two teams could meet in the finals. They could meet here. Cameron misses across the face. The Giants will get a home final here if they earn a home final against any team other than Sydney. If they earn a home final against Sydney, it will be next door at ANZ Stadium, or the Olympic Stadium if you like, where the Giants don't play, but the Swans do.
Not a great home final, is it?
No, but it's about crowd maximisation as well, which is why the Cats won't get a home final either this year by the looks of things. Griffin. Cameron. Patfull. Yeo. Hutchings. And now the run. Tunbridge. Didn't want to kick it. Wanted to run it to come past. Gaff. He's got Sheed.
There's no doubt their intensity has lifted for the Eagles. They are now right in the contest.
Kennedy up. Good pluck.
It saw that Zach Williams down there come across for the fly.
Had to stand in traffic, and Adam Tomlinson, who got caught on Kennedy at that contest, thought that he was safe because he had a teammate coming across the front. But when your man flies, you have to fly.
We don't often see him take many marks like that, Jace, but that was really good technique. Drove the knee into Zach Williams.
For number 2 for the afternoon. As I mentioned, coming off a 7-goal game last week, but that's to the near side.
Hasn't got his groove on, has he, with his goal kicking at the moment?
We haven't seen many big bags kicked this year. I know there's been a few 7s, and you know that's a pretty big bag, but got a bloke next to me, Jason Dunstall, who kicked 7 or more in a game 58 times. 58 times, including a 17. That's what you call a big bag. Patfull.
Well, the good news for the Eagles is that's the 4th mark inside 50 that Josh Kennedy has taken. That's a great sign.
By the way, Tony Locker kicked 7 or more 74 times. 74 times.
That was just an average day for Plugger. He was a freak.
Well, Plugger averaged 5 goals a game, and you averaged, what, 4.6. It's still a pretty good afternoon every week to have. It's phenomenal by today's standards. Ball wide. Steve Johnson, Mumford, Lobb, McGovern, Lysette. Shuey goes back. Barras, Marston. And good hands again from Tunbridge, who's having an impact.
Yeah, he's shown a bit, Dwayne.
They owned him as a 17-year-old. He didn't play for them in the end, the Giants, but he probably got a point to prove. Kennedy just sees it slapped away.
It wasn't a bad kick either. It was right where Kennedy wanted it. You're talking about those marks inside 50. He's got 4. A couple of Jeremy Cameron, but LaCroix coming into the game, a player that's been really quiet for West Coast Eagles this season. They need him involved, so some good signs there.
Scully crunched. Gets it back again. Griffin to Tomlinson. Cameron and Hearn. Cameron almost grabbed it and went. Steve Johnson, little push to the throat of Shuey, and that's got to be ball.
I don't know how he can complain about that one, Stevie J. You got time to fend. That's plenty of. Oh, that's an interesting kick.
Yeah,
they're away
there
here
again. Whitfield looks up.
Oh, beautiful kick.
No one in front of Cameron. Just needs to show some poise and a cool head.
That was a bad mistake there by the Eagles players, crossing up. Lockie Whitfield.
That long kick across.
Long kick again. We saw Devon Smith earlier on in the quarter for the Giants cross it up, and it cost the Giants a goal. That time almost cost the Eagles a goal. You cannot switch it that far.
Tunbridge and Kennedy take it to the line.
You cannot switch it that far if there is an opponent within 30 metres where the ball's going to land. You can just make up too much ground while that ball's in the air.
Missed a couple of great opportunities, Jeremy Cameron, in the last few minutes.
It's a one-kick game. Lysette, though, knocks it to Shield. Caught with the handball attempt. Cripps got it from Marston. Sheed having a good second term. Kennedy. So Nat Nui's forward now. And he heads to Hutchings, who's free.
Gee, that's a good kick.
Great delivery. Prentice, he needs to show a cool head and some poise, and he delivers. And we're all square.
Well, it's been a dominant 10-minute period for the Eagles, that's for sure. Again, another switch kick, but this time it comes off. Prentice is on the receiving end of it. We just follow the play. That is a long kick.
That's a 60-metre square up ball.
Yes, but it got there really quickly. He's got good penetration, Josh Kennedy. Kennedy's getting amongst it. Josh Kennedy up to 10 disposals now. He's had his 4 shots on goal, but also getting up the ground and doing some work, Jace. He's been able to take his 6 marks.
The big stars are starting to fire for the West Coast. They did lead by a behind earlier in this game. They did have an early share of the lead, but that was really in the opening minutes. The momentum wasn't with them. And right now it certainly is with them, and they can finish this quarter full of running with 7 minutes left. Ball to half forward. Tunbridge knocked it down. Patfull, Kennedy, Lobb. That'll be out of bounds on the full from Lobb.
Well, that's the first panic kick we've seen from GWS. And the level of pressure that the Eagles started with is nothing compared to what they're imposing now upon their opponents. This has been a terrific fight back by the Eagles, and something we probably desperately needed to see. We're talking about 2 teams that were 4th and 6th entering the round. You expect them both to be gunning for a top 4 spot, and there shouldn't be that much between them.
Great work from the Giants fan who didn't give us straight back to Hutchings. Gaff. Kennedy. Patton's gone back to lend a hand. Green.
Oh, what a great handball.
Scully. Now Kelly needs to be cool here. Hasn't got a lot to go to. He's got Stevie J in a 1-on-2. He launches it. And out of bounds, probably a pretty good option. That was deliberate, I'd reckon, but it's not going to be paid.
Good result.
We had no one to kick to. He was only kicking for that result.
Yeah, well, he'll certainly argue that he was kicking for goal.
Saw one paid against, I think it was Josh Hill last week, that tried a long shot that went out of bounds. He got pinged for deliberate.
That was a very clever kick. Short throw in. Stevie J wreaking havoc in there again. Lysette and Prentice.
That's their second tackle in the last 13 minutes for the Giants. Their tackle pressure's dropped right away, and that's what's opened the door for the Eagles to get back into this game.
There's been a lot of talk about what the Giants are going to be like in finals. They're going to get some tackle pressure in finals. Green. Lobb. His last one went out on the full. This one a behind.
And that's the thing for the Giants. If they can break even around the contest, you've got better athletes than most other sides. They've got about 5 or 6 guys that can run sub 10-minute 3-kilometre time trials, which is an unbelievable performance. Most other clubs would only have 1, maybe 2 maximum. So they just need to get it right around the stoppages, around the source.
See the pink sky in the distance. Sun setting on a beautiful day here in Sydney. Lob about to send this back. And Lob does lob it into the pocket to Patton. Drag down, free kick.
It's a good quick kick from Rory Lobb. He had Patton waving for the ball to come in quickly and long because he had a bit of space, a bit of separation between himself and his opponent, Jeremy McGovern. Just needs to take his time here for the screw kick around the corner.
Patton thinks about the handball.
That does not look like 10 metres. That looks like it's back to the old 5.
He screws it around. He didn't need the 10. He pulls an ace out.
And have a look at the master there, the master of the screw kipper or the snap kick, Stevie Johnson there coaching him. He was standing nearby, near the man on the mark, giving him advice, talking Jono through it. No doubts they would practice this, a lot of training. It was a really nice finish there by the big man, a good contest to mark, and gradually he's developing confidence as the weeks go by, jumping up, meeting it at the highest point. It's a really nice kick. There's that man, Stevie J, his personal coach with the snap kick. He'll be very happy with his pupil there.
He's always ready if the handball's an option as well, Steve Johnson, just in case. Prittis, great smother. And flicked it out. Lysette couldn't get away with it. Ward, Williams, Whitfield has to go back. He sees Lob out wide. Marston trying to get there to shut him down. Shield, even the big guys can deliver by foot to perfection. Candelio thumps it. Cameron in the pocket this time. Barras got a fist on it. Devon Smith. Caught, rolls it to Prittis. Barras. And a great mark, Williams. The big spoil was an option from Hill, but he decided not to go for it. Mumford this time from 4 deep. Yo, Marston. Newhern was there. They get it outside 50. Hutchings. Hill tried to trap it with his foot because he was held. Free kick. Can Darling get there? Davis was in the right spot. Tomlinson kept it alive. Bounce pass was good from Shaw to Shield. It's probably too wide, although it works. One on the line. And the double grab mark not paid because the second grab was outside the line.
2 grabs.
Four minutes left in the half. Good quarter for the West Coast, who were down by 11 at quarter time. No one back there. They all run back. Davis, Tomlinson, bouncing ball, little tap down. Tomlinson shrugs the tackle from Darling. Padful, and he's got Shaw, who's hunted back to give him an option. Steadied in the last couple of minutes, the Giants. Kennedy straight off the bench. Ran straight on, nearly marked it. Johnson. Schofield looks up. Good option there. Dumps it straight across the line and they can reset.
Yeah, they needed Kennedy to come off the bench then too to compete. Otherwise, West Coast would have taken that mark and been able to relaunch it back into their forward 50. Good work.
Mumford pushes Lysette out of it. He's still good enough to go back and get it. Marston didn't really mean that kick, but it'll go down as a stat. Wellingham. Ward and Yo. Wasn't a marking contest, I don't think, so you're allowed to chop the arms if it's not 15. Prittis. Darling. Now Kennedy runs hard. Heads to Marston and Hearn instead, who can crush a ball. Hearn goes outside. Marston inside 50. Keeps it low. And the across the face.
Gee, it was a good opportunity created by Shannon Hearn. He just ran and carried a little, put a bit of doubt into the defender's mind, and that allowed the hand pass once he gave it to Marston to take Marston inside 50 and give him a good look at the goals.
Bring it in. Play on.
Shaw heads in the Natanui and up he flies. When Natanui's hot, he's not the guy you kick into.
Right there, Sharon. Push
Oh,
in.
Sharrod Wellingham playing with fire, having a go at Shane Mumford, who wasn't happy.
Kennedy, gee, had a big piece of it, not enough. Davis accidentally with the outside of the boot.
Pushed as he kicked.
Throw it in. Side of the boot.
Little low five for Davis. Lob
Thanks, boys, again.
heads for the ruck contest.
Place the footy.
In fact, Mumford to do it with Natanui in the end. Natanui gets front spot, got the palm on it. Shield, a little toe off the deck. Good smother on the Wellingham kick, still good enough. Mumford traps it, gave to Scully. Nothing forward, back to Kennedy. To Shaw. Now Green sits under this. Steve J protected him.
Did well.
Kick smothered. It might still work for them. Johnson the flick on to Kennedy. Outstanding. And he gets it back. And back. Kennedy floats it to Green.
How good was that?
To perfection. That was out of the copybook.
That was
Stevie J game plan.
Let me tell you,
Harlem Globetrotters.
the Matthew Kennedy kick was very clever on the left foot. Really good vision and awareness.
15 gone.
A fantastic resurrection to watch Toby Green. Dropped a couple of years ago.
25.
Had a couple of discipline issues, but he is one of the best players in the comp right now to watch. Work rate and leadership.
Shane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Play on.
Still alive.
Got it.
They've steadied the Giants. 1 minute 17 left in the half.
Thanks, boy.
Little hush falls over the crowd here.
Play on.
Mumford and Natanui had a piece of it and then a piece of each other.
Play on.
Canelio scrambles a kick.
Play on.
Schofield, and it hits the line. Ball in.
Got it. Save again.
West Coast Eagles have had a few people coming at them about their form, especially away from home, but they've won 6 of the last 7 as well. Good trap, tackle and drag down, so they're in pretty good form as well, the West Coast Eagles, especially at home. The Giants,
Coming back. Place the footy.
well, the West Coast have won 6 of their past 7, have won 7 of their last 8. Natanui free kick.
Yeah, there's been a feeling too that the Eagles haven't performed at the level of last year, Dwayne, but as you say, they're close by. And I think on the back of this guy's return, Nick Nat, maybe they can find that form of 2015.
A huge second half coming up here for both these teams in what is really an 8-point game. Not just the 4 you win, the 4 you stop the opposition from getting, because top 4 and top 2 still on offer for these two.
Yep.
Is going to be critical. Top 2 gives you the dream home run if you're good enough. Natanui the push off. Play on advantage. Last chance for the West Coast. Their last roll of the dice for the half. Cripps gets there and he's within range. Does he know how long left?
Where does the umpire put the mark? So kick from about 51, 52 metres. Take his best.
He can kick a goal. He's got a 5-goal game to his name, and he gives you a few different facets forward. He gives you goals. He
Very
gives you
consistent
pressure
bloke
and
there.
assists as well.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good year.
Siren's about to sound on his kick. Didn't put him off. He's got that steely look about him. Struck it well. Just misses to the near side. And the umpire's having a word to a couple of players, but it's half-time here, Spotless Stadium. Critical game between 4th and 7th on the AFL ladder. And after an 11-point margin at quarter time in favour of the Giants, it's the Giants by 5 at the half. Mumford and Natanui look each other in the eye. Good bounce to restart it. Natanui reaches over. Secondary knock from Mumford to Shield. Hearn, he beelined it, kept it in front. Marston, Hutchings, Hearn, so going backwards to go forward. Schofield. And Natanui could jump here. He got caught out. Yo floats in front of the pack. Pritis, nice sidestep. Sits it up high. Almost a Fred Lacroix. Manhandled out of it. Kennedy didn't jump. Went for the crumb. Davis threw that to Griffin. Gave it to Cornelio. Lob, crunch. Lyset and Natanui drag him down. Good intensity to start this second half. Shield found some room where there wasn't any. Griffin ran through a couple. Rolls it to Whitfield and it works. Back to Cornelio. Williams is on the open side. Patfull needs to see him and hit him. He's got Haynes if he wants him. And you bet he wants him.
Gee, there was some good run from behind the footy there from GWS.
Umpires screaming again at the defenders, don't hold.
Not sure why they have to do that, Dwayne. And that's a beautiful lead up from Jeremy Cameron.
Yeah, you're spot on, Jason. If they hold, just pay a free kick.
If you see it, pay it. Otherwise, don't worry.
Cameron.
Clever.
Chisels that straight through Stevie J, who thought he had it. McGovern. Butler. Gaff crunched to Barras. Well worked. They tightrope the boundary line beautifully. Inside the Lacroix. Inside the Marston, who slides in.
Plenty of space ahead if they can move it quickly.
And they do. Sidestep was good. Shepherd. And now Lacroix got it from Shuey and drives it towards goal and misses.
See, that's a passage of play that just needs to be capped off with a goal. It's the sort of thing that lifts the team when they see passages of play like that.
They've been normally pretty good there with their goal-kicking accuracy, West Coast. It's let them down today, though. 5 goals, 9 to poor return so far. And they've been pretty easy misses too, Jace.
Absolutely, they haven't been difficult at all.
Davis, Whitfield and Tomlinson out there almost hiding on the boundary line. Shield. He's told to get going. Put Whitfield under the hammer. Shepherd crumbed it, gave it to Shuey. He's got the short and he hits Kennedy lace out.
He'd like his time again, Dylan Shield. The little chip kick is okay, but when you have to kick it over the man on the mark, a little up and under, just sat in the air for too long, and now Josh Kennedy a chance. 1 goal, 3 in the first half. If he gets his kicking boots on, this game could change dramatically.
In some ways it has changed. They were 24 points up, the Giants. Kennedy drives this long, and from 24 points down to 2 points up, the West Coast Eagles.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
We just saw the reaction of Leon Cameron in the box when that turnover came. This is their strength, the foot skills, but when you turn it over there, you've got no chance of defending it.
No, exactly right. And since quarter time, Jace, the Eagles have been a lot better defensively, haven't they? They've set up well. I think even the start of this third quarter, look at Leon Cameron. Fair bit of frustration there beside Lenny A straight on the phone.
I think he said, damn, Dylan.
Yeah, that's right. The Eagles have been good defensively. Really good day so far by Josh Kennedy. Look at those shots. He's had his 6 shots on goal. And he's moved around the ground really well. 11 disposals, 2 goals, 3.
West Coast Eagles have never, ever lost to the Giants. 4 meetings, 4 wins to the West Coast. And their average winning margin in those games has been 16 goals a game. Different Giants in 2016, but the West Coast Eagles at least know they've got their measure. He's not happy about that, Griffin.
Well, he's worn one, and the blood's running again. He knows it. He's upset that he didn't get the free kick, and now he has to come from the field for more treatment. Not a happy man at all. It's a good schnoz to do some work on too.
It's getting bigger. The more they hit it, the more it's going to grow. Natanui flicks the handball out short, taps it down, it works. Kelly, great smother, Natanui. Might create one here. Pritis. Darling, back inside. Natanui could kick it himself. Gave it to Pritis. Looks up, keeps it low, bounces it towards goal, and Patfull Pats are through.
That's what Nick Nat brings to the table. He really follows up after those clearances, Jace. He's really good at ground level. He has a lot of clearances himself, actually. He's probably in the top 3 or 4 clearance getters for the Eagles. He certainly has missed a few games as well, so that's dangerous. They're starting to follow up out of the stoppages quicker than what the Giants are.
And as we mentioned, he might be a bit rusty. Second game back from 6 weeks out, but he's starting to find the footy. Patton starting to find it again. Gave it up. Smith
can run all the way.
He's got the loop over handball if he wants it. Might just kick it himself. Why wouldn't you? And they're back in front.
It's a terrific rebound goal, but he took a big risk, Toby Green, in shooting for goal from there. They had 3-on-1. You watch him come straight down the middle. McGovern misses the mark, spoils Hearn, and then Patton gives the hand pass off. So Devon Smith does the right thing. He draws, he gives. Now they've got 3-on-1. He has another bounce. It's a simple hand pass over the top of Barras to Jeremy Cameron, who runs into an open goal. I'm glad he finished it, because it would have been a horror miss.
Oh. Look at these last 10 scores now. That has broken a run of Eagles dominance, really. Look at those scores. West Coast all over the Giants, but against the run of play, Toby Green kicks a goal on the back of a risky Zach Williams kick in, but they got away with it.
He's got a real finals-like feel about it now. Hutchings caught, Shield got a kick away, took an eternity to get it away, and Cripps wrapped up by Kelly. Shield 19 possessions, the leader in that race for the Giants. Shuey 16 possessions for the West Coast so far. A block, free kick Mumford. Not going the ball, I said told. Mumford to Shaw, keeps that low. Kennedy, Kelly, Cornelio. Confidence back with the ball use, the Giants. This is what they did early, just owned the Sherrin. Patton from behind, he thought it was going to carry, just flicked away.
I'd like to see him really jump at that ball, really crash the pack there, Dwayne, show his presence, even though he's unlikely to mark it. Really let the guys around him, especially the Eagles players, really let him know he's there. Use his bulk.
You want him to put a knee into somebody's shoulder.
That's exactly right. He's 110 kilos. Use that size.
Sheed, and it's legitimate in a marking contest, of course, if you do that. Pritis flicks it wide. Little flick Hutchings to Tunbridge. LaCroix feeds back. Pat Valent Tomlinson. Both go up. Ball hits the deck. Davis. Darling. Umpire.
He's a player that needs to get in the contest, Jack Darling. They've got Josh Kennedy up and running. A couple of goals from Mark LaCroix. Darling's just the 7 possessions, hasn't impacted the scoreboard. I'd love to get him going, but Tomlinson's done a good job.
Yeah, no goals last week against Fremantle as well, Darling. He hasn't been hitting the scoreboard lately. Kelly. Butler read it pretty well, but flicked away by Lobb, who had the reach on him. Bam Bam Kennedy gives the handball up. Cornelio, the Shield, tried to turn out of trouble, turned into it.
It's a great tackle by Hearn.
Gaff wide. This looks good for Tunbridge. Time to spend it wisely to Hutchings.
Wow.
He's got a decent left peg on him, Tunbridge, hasn't he? He can deliver a bullet.
And what I loved about that, again, Jace, we saw the kicker kick the ball before the Eagles player had led. So that makes it really difficult for the Giants defender to be able to stop that ball. He just doesn't have time to react.
Actually kicked it while Heath Shaw had his back to play, so he couldn't see what was happening. Really clever kick.
25.
And this for the lead back for the West Coast. And silence this crowd again. To the boos. Pretty good off his boot. Goal umpire did not move. And they lead again.
Well, got their accuracy, their goal kicking accuracy specifically, Jace. The Eagles have got it back on track. Saw Josh Kennedy a few moments ago was able to kick the goal from about 45 out, and this time we're able to see Hutchings finish now. Just have a look at this kick. Tunbridge.
He's got his back to play, Heath Shaw.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Obviously, Heath Shaw can't react with his back to that ball. Only one person can mark that ball, and that is Hutchings. It was a terrific kick. Really nice left foot. That is a forward's dream, that kick.
Just having a look at the bench down here, Ryan Griffin's had some work done, boys. The physios have had a good go at that.
Come on.
Leroy LeBeau and Luke Heath, I think they've half-stitched him up there. He can't hardly see out of that.
Looks like something out of the Marvel comic. Ball hits the deck. Free kick, though. Green won't be allowed to play on with it. Shepherd's ball. Yeah, let's see if we get a superhero performance out of him when he comes back on. That's crazy, that look, but if it stops the bleeding, it stops the bleeding. And right now, the Giants need to stop the bleeding. They were 24 points up. They're 3 points down.
Push out, push out.
Johnson
Push out the area.
barking some instructions.
Hasn't been a big day for Stevie J. He's kicked a goal, but just the 7 possessions.
Heads to the pocket again, which is their preferred option. And, well, if he's going to take big plucks like that, you go to him every time, Jonathan.
Yeah, exactly right. That was true.
Jump at it.
The highest, meeting at the ball at the highest point there, Dwayne. Really like that. And jumping from the front position, not afraid to stand in front. Sign of a good forward. Jumps up nice and high. That's hard for a defender to get past that body. He's got really good height and obviously really good bulk around his shoulders.
He's another that hasn't kicked a big number in a breakout game yet. This is for number 3 for today. Across the face. Only a behind. And that's the trouble with going to the pocket as your game plan. You don't mark it, you can at least knock it out and restart with the ball in, but it's a tough shot from there if you do mark it. Hearn launches a 70-metre bomb, Darling's direction, thump back towards attacking 50. Kennedy left it behind. Pritis. Barras back to Sheed. Just got away. Danger. Shuey just thumps it away. Heel in a 1-on-2 and beaten. Hatful.
Good body work from Kennedy on Hill just to create the space.
Jason, they're winning a lot of ball across half-back, but their forward 50 pressure's really dropped away. Their forward half work is not getting the returns that they need. 1 goal, 4 in the forward half today. Normally that should be around about the 5 to 6 goals. It's too heavily reliant on scoring out of the back half at the moment for the Giants.
Yeah, and at the moment they're also relying on big marks being taken up forward because it's that kick inside 50. We saw a couple of good ones early, but they've dried up.
Patton's got his marking touch back. And lob. Both hands on that. Barras. Gaff to Sheed. Caught, but got to kick away. And it'll work just over the head of Yo. Kennedy flicks it up. He wanted Joe. Davis trapped it. Ward. Butler used his body illegally.
Yeah, just a little bit heavy with the bump there.
Steve Johnson over the back, hoping for the long launch.
Just leaned into his back too much.
And again, they go to that pocket, and it works again. Green.
Kick Josh Kelly into the forwards. Speaking to Jeremy Cameron before the game, he said he loves being on the end of Josh Kelly. He's got really good penetration with his kick and has got good touch as well.
As a forward, Brownie, you'd be well aware that you always had your favourites when you were leading.
Oh, exactly
and
right.
your eyes used to light up when certain players had it.
And he takes the responsibility himself. Gives it a good ride. Just misses to the near side.
And a few longer shots here, Dwayne. Jonathan Patton a couple of moments ago, and now this time. Just got to get a few more central shots on goal. Just to help their accuracy rate, the Giants.
Look at that for a little, that's a dart chip kick.
Yeah. Low hang time, which stops any defender from getting there to stop it. Darling flicks it on. Shepherd gets a chance. He puts the Jets on. Opened up the angle. Did he get enough on it? You bet he did.
Well, too easy, that transition. Straight out from a kick in. That is the coast-to-coast goal on the back of Shannon Hearn. That was a terrific kick in. Really good spot pass. Not many players in the competition have got that penetration and accuracy over 60 metres. Well done. They knew they were at the back of the Giants. So the Eagles just kept playing on. And a nice finish as well. It's been too easy a few times now. The way the Eagles have been able to transition the ball against the Giants, it's been disappointing on the back of some poor pressure.
It's a genuine weapon having Shannon Hearn kicking out because your area to work in is much bigger than just about any other time you've got someone else kicking out in any of the other teams.
Yeah, which is why they're the #1 kick-in team in the comp. Shuey. They're up and running here with some confidence, the West Coast. Sheed gets under that a little. Kennedy front spot. Crunched away, but a bit of arm taken in the spoil attempt. Shuey had enough time to spend it, and he's gone.
Well, that's better. That aggression is better from the Giants there, Dwayne. Look at that example. That's what they did in the first quarter. But since quarter time, the Giants have really dropped off in that area of the game. They need to get that aggression back, really hunt up the Eagles to get back on top of this game.
Turnover. Look away kick from Williams didn't quite work. Yo. Took a while to pick it up, and he was driven.
That should be ball because he had a chance to hand pass that.
And now Whitfield's caught, and the umpire, who lost his whistle for a second, gets it back.
He made a conscious decision to hang on to the ball then, Elliot Yo. He just tucks it under the arm.
Smith. And he dropped that as he was tackled. Gone.
It's a really good contest at the moment. They're under pressure, the Giants. They need to respond. The Eagles have lifted. They've continued on from that great effort in the second term.
Well, top two is still on offer for the West Coast if they win this. Long kick. Kennedy stalking it. Almost Darling at the back. Both go low. Still in the congestion. Scully rolled with a wing tackle. We'll get a ball up. In fact, top spot is still on offer for the West Coast Eagles. It's an unlikely scenario, but they have Hawthorn next week. So their destiny's in their own hands. That'll be a massive win over the #1 team in the comp right now if they were to get it.
Well, this takes them above the Western Bulldogs if they win.
They've got to Hawthorn and Adelaide the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
It is in their hands.
Yep. And Hawthorn is over at home at Domain Stadium. So
yeah, some say it's a horror draw compared to other teams, but if you win both, they're both 8-point games, as this one is right now, and they're threatening to win this. Yo floats it wide, too wide for Kennedy.
I think there's a general feeling that the Eagles haven't hit their straps just yet. So eventually they're probably going to hit their straps at some stage, and maybe they're the side that gets a good run into September, Just.
I think it's the perfect draw because when you're outside the top 4 trying to get in, you need to play those teams to actually stop them from winning more games and getting in there. And the best way to do that is to knock them off. You leapfrog them.
Hutchings tried to get a kick away, didn't work. But he had no prior as he was trying to get it away, so cut some slack. Pressure on every possession now for the Giants.
Look at this run.
But Green found some space, blows it long. Whitfield on the run, big ball to win, and he does win it, but he's hunted down by Wellingham. Tackle just as good.
Well, it just wasn't a great kick, the one that was out in front of Josh Kelly.
Wellingham's in good form as well. 13 intercept possessions last week, and that was a goal saver.
Or Whitfield, I should say, but the kick just needed to be more to his part of the corridor, not down the middle.
McGovern's got Sheed. It needs to be a good kick. Sits in the air. Green gets back. Not sure what Sheed was doing there, but it didn't work. Green keeps it low. Kennedy, Devon Smith, one step, drives it long. That's his forte. And the Giants are back in front. In fact, it's a 1-point game.
Yeah, 2 goals this quarter to Devon Smith. Terrific effort there. Really good finish off one step. A little bit of a messy entry by Toby Green inside 50. Just see that's a dangerous kick and a really good contested mark by Green. Able to keep his feet, rush the kick a little bit there. They're able to tidy up with a nice finish. Just keeps them in the game, really. Up against it.
It's an extraordinary record, isn't it, Toby Green? It mightn't have been the best kick in. He's the #1 score-assist player in the competition. He's had another couple tonight. That's a wonderful attribute to have. And make no mistake, the coaches and his teammates know all about that value.
Nat Nui to Shuey. Prentice kick smothered. Ricochets to Scully. Back to Griffin. Devon Smith. Whitfield screaming for it. Short. Ward screaming for it short. He goes to that pocket again to Scully. And this kick is for the lead.
On the right side too for a left footer. He's got good distance with his kicks. Expect him to ease his way out to the left there. He'll probably go for the left-hand goal post and see if he can bring it around certainly capable of this.
And the hush falls over Spotless Stadium again. Well, distance, not a worry, nor the accuracy from there. And they lead by 5.
Did exactly that. He went out past the left-hand goal post. Geez, it was a beautiful kick. He hit that crisply. Well done here. Tell you what, Devon Smith's having a fair influence on the game, Jace. Just waited.
Player, isn't he?
Yeah, it was really good patience. Just let the play unfold. West Coast Eagles let the guard down a bit. Really nice finish by Scully.
There's been a number of lead changes, and who's to say we won't have another half a dozen before we're done.
You can see that spike where the Giants led by 24 points. Mumford, nice set, climbed high. Shield got a kick away. Hearn. Gaff. Shuey. And Lacroix in some space. He can take off. He pumps it. It's touched though. And it hits the post anyway.
Yeah, Mark Lacroix ended up on his own there, Dwayne, because there was spare men at the centre bounces. There was a spare man down the Giants' end, a spare man down the Eagles' end. They were unable to get organised, the Giants' defenders, and Mark Lacroix popped up on his own. Very lucky to get away with it.
He was desperate for Josh Kennedy to lead up at him, and he doubled back running towards goal.
Gaff wrapped up, dragged down by Ward.
This is what the Eagles do very well. They're very much a territory-based team. Get the ball in the forward half, lock it in, force repeat opportunities, and get it on the scoreboard. You can see today that 6 of their 8 goals have come from forward half work.
Whitfield hacks it to the wing. Schofield just protecting it, didn't want to stop it from its trajectory if it was rolling out. Stevie J was too clever for him though. Scully, and now Cameron's on his own inside 50. Fantastic delivery.
He went back so quickly, Dwayne. As soon as he saw his teammate in Scully getting on the end of that, he was off and gone. And before his opponent actually realised it, he had a 10-metre break.
And there was a time, not that long ago, when Schofield could have just tapped that ball out and been content to get a ball in, but the new rule means that you can't do it, and it's kept the ball in play more. We've had less stoppages this year, and it's a better game to watch. Now Cameron to finish it all. Fantastic delivery and an even better finish. They're out by 10.
Yeah, interesting move. Just see here, McGovern had a decision to make. We just see McGovern here, and then you got Jeremy Cameron there. Now McGovern needed to stay on Jeremy Cameron here. He commits to the ball, makes a mistake here. He goes past Cameron, commits to the football, and then all of a sudden Jeremy Cameron is out the back on his own. Just
he
a mistake.
Didn't need to do it. He had teammates that could have taken the mark and done exactly what he did.
Some breathing space for the Giants as we head to three-quarter time. 5 minutes left in this third term, and they do recall it.
It's an interesting discussion, Jason. The mindset of the intercept marker versus the forward that wants to get in behind and out the back, and who wins that battle can often dictate whether your backline holds together or you leak easy scores.
Yeah, that instance there, though, was more about nearest player to the play with the ball has to hold him up, put pressure on.
Short pass, Cornelio. Green takes off, slipped the tackle, tried to slip the pass to Lobb, but it slips past him. Barras. Well, he kept that in. Thought it was out, and the umpire now saying it was.
He had plenty of options.
He was
Toby
spoiled
Green,
for choice, wasn't
yeah.
he? He second-guessed himself. Should have gone to his first option on this near side to camera. He opted to go for the other side, and then it was a poor decision, poor kick. He made a couple of mistakes with his entries inside 50. Toby Green in the last 5 minutes.
Big pack around this ball in. The ruckman grab each other. Flick to the back. Green. That's Griffin under that tape. Bends it around. And Griffin nails it.
Two goals for Ryan Griffin. And that is an absolute ripper. Have a look at the way he's all taped up to stop the blood flowing from that nose that he's copped a couple of whacks to. Interesting hand pass from Canelio. Toby Green draws a couple of defenders. That buys a little bit of time for Ryan Griffin, but on the opposite foot off one step. That's just a class finish.
Have a look at the last 10 scores. You just see here the Giants starting to creep back into the game now. They've been able to get out to 16 points after West Coast really dominated, especially the second quarter, early in the third, but this has been a good last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, Jace.
They kick him in twos. 3 lots of back-to-back goals there for the Eagles.
Shuey tried to break free. Griffin wrapped him up. Nat Nui went off the deck. Prittis wrapped up. Ball. Big call. The last 4 goals of the game, the Giants. Shaw heads wide to Haynes. The juggler. Crowd getting involved again, and it looks like being a 4-way change on the bench for the Giants. You don't see that very often, a 4-on, 4-off. High towards half forward. Whitfield, Shield, Scully, Green wreaking havoc. The turn inside, Canelio to Scully. Stevie J with a flick over the head. Poked by Whitfield, top of the square. They've got the extra back. Cameron bends it. Not quite.
Starting to win the footy now, the Giants. The tackling pressure has been good, but starting to win that contested ball, win the clearances. The last 5 minutes have been very good.
Under siege right now, the West Coast. McGovern. Hearn. He wants to load up with a long bomb. He's got Nat Nui and Mumford on the boundary. And he heads to that contest and they tie up. Nat Nui almost. Mumford almost. Tries to bullock his way through. He dropped it in the meantime. Shield. Good juggler from Butler.
It's been a great battle, Mumford versus Nat Nui. Nat Nui 10 disposals, Mumford the 9.
And you can see Mumford doing a lot of body work on him. He doesn't want to allow him to run and jump. He just keeps body on body, pushing and shoving and wrestling as much as he can.
Williams worked his way to the front then. Kennedy flies for the Giants, takes it out. David King.
Just having a look at the profile of these two teams. They're heavy scoring teams from stoppages. Number 1 in the competition, the Giants. Number 2 in the competition, the West Coast Eagles. In this third term, 3 goals to 0. They're well on top. The Giants have won the last 6 clearances, and here they go again.
Shield inside. Scully played for the free. Johnson didn't get it. Shield again, missed his boot. Kennedy getting back at half-back. Butler tried to duck out of it, and that constitutes prior.
Gee, that's stiff. I mean, that was serious traffic in there. Anyone that could get a hand pass or a kick in there would have been a genius.
Yeah, the umpire didn't really give him any opportunity there at all.
I think he tried to push off with that left arm to start with, and that's what cost him.
Patful pumps at top of the square. Lob from 4 deep, got it down. Scully, back to Lob. Top shelf. Doesn't get much better than that from the big man.
Well, that was fantastic hands by Scully to Lob. Obviously, a very good snap over the shoulder by Lob. But let's have a look at these quick hands. Scully right there, front and centre, perfect crumbing position. That is a lightning quick handball on the left.
And how many blokes that size, Brownie, could turn and kick so quickly?
Yeah, not many. He's a good athlete, that's for sure. Quite tall. That's 6'7", Jace. Very good contested mark, but he is good at ground level.
It's a long way to drop the footy onto the boot.
Yeah.
So another stoppage goal, and it's now 5 goals in a row for the Giants. Led by 24 points earlier in the game. And they're looking at that kind of margin right now at 3/4 time. Shuey caught high. Last chance perhaps coming up here for the West Coast to get one back.
Lob's gone deep into defence.
And he's about to jump at this. He gets up and he plucks it.
Well, as soon as he kicked that last goal, he sprinted down into defence. He got the word They obviously look at the time on the clock, got their noses in front, got a nice little break, and so he went down there just to shore up to try to stop West Coast kicking any other goals.
Long time to take off the clock, so they're going to have to use it wisely. He goes wide. Jump from Kennedy early. Willingham can't get there in time to stop it from travelling out. That's one of the Kennedys in, 2 Kennedys in for the Giants today, Matthew and Adam. You can see the strapping around Griffin as he sits out this last minute and 11 seconds. Mumford again ties up with Naitanui. Green in the congestion.
Yeah, it's been a good battle, Naitanui versus Mumford. I think Mumford's starting to get on top in around ground stoppages with his hit-outs to advantage. He's had more than Naitanui, but his bulk and his size is starting to wear Naitanui down, who's been out for a few weeks, only his second game back from injury.
Scrambled forward, still alive here for the West Coast to steal a late one back.
That would have been the plan coming into the game, for Mumford to go hard. We can just see Zach Williams a little bit sore. He's going to try and push through that. Maybe he's received a corky.
Naitanui wins that one down. He just missed Prittis though. More seconds tick down.
That would have been the plan for Mumford, and certainly the coach would have told Shane Mumford, engage Naitanui as much as you can, wrestle him, wear him down, fatigue him.
And jump into him as he did there. Whitfield. Kennedy hit the belly of the ball. Play on, not 15 the call. Mumford brings it down, but it's not a mark. Now he's in trouble.
That was clearly 15 metres.
Not 15.
Well, it was kicked from inside the 50-metre arc, a good 3 or 4 metres inside, and it's a good 10 or 15 outside the arc already.
Went 45 up.
Yeah.
Prittis, gaff. Willingham shrugs the tackle. Knocked away from Tunbridge. She tries to brush off. Naitanui pumps it, goal square. Davis, amazing. Held his composure there under immense pressure. 11 seconds left. Needs to hold it for 10 more. Heads wide. And 2 Giants go for it, spoil each other. 3/4 time. 8-point game between 2 top 8 teams. Critical for both teams for their chances of finishing the season in the top 2. And worse still, a loss could see one of these 2 finish in the bottom 2 of the top 8. A 23-point margin at the last change in favour of the Giants. Back in the middle, final term underway, and here's Mumford. Naitanui slams it down, got it the hill, but he couldn't pick it and run. Johnson got it from Cornelio. Handball to the back though of Williams, who was on the run. Momentum early in this final term could be huge. Scully goes back. Little dance step, okay, and now a high bomb Mumford's direction. He misread it. It was drifting. Marston dumped into the deck. Prittis, Naitanui, Shuey, great smother. Ricochet back to Mumford, feeds it into the middle, turn from Butler, got it to Prittis, back to Shuey. Can he hit Kennedy? You bet he can.
Well, we speak about it a lot. We don't see it too often. Heath Shaw screaming at the top of his voice at teammates to kick the ball, get it out of the defensive area when they were mucking around with it. He is absolutely furious, but we keep talking about this hit-up lead. We don't see it anywhere near as often in the game these days, but Josh Kennedy is one of the best at leading up at the footy.
For his 3rd for the afternoon, for 70 for the season, the Coleman leader puts them on the board early.
So very simple. We talk about leaving the space to lead into, and Josh Kennedy is the best at picking his time and when to do it. So have a look up here. Asia's going to come straight up the corridor. That's where the space is, and that's where he gets hit with a beautiful lead. You can't do any better than that. Hard to defend. There's no one chopping it off. And look at Heath Shaw in the background, screaming his lungs out.
Adam Simpson, a happy man, 3rd season as coach. West Coast obviously finishing second last year. And there, you see a free kick paid here. Still in this contest after their eyeballs here, the West Coast.
The Shuey's 8th clearance, Dwayne.
And he drives it. Lacroix's going to have to go. And he couldn't quite bring it down. Haynes read it to perfection.
Yeah. I just understand it mightn't be his strength, Lacroix, but he's got to make some sort of contact that brings that ball to ground and keeps it alive for the Eagles.
Hearn stands under this. He's up. Almost an arm knock away by Scully. He got away with that, but he didn't get away with the Sharon.
Thank you. Coming in behind you, Harrow. Okay. Now you're coming in behind you.
Luke Shuey, far and away the best with clearances.
Play on.
Hacked forward. Over the head of Kennedy. They've got the numbers back. Patfull. Haynes. Over the head of Nat Nui, makes a contest, but Devon Smith stood his ground. Shield. Again, the precision use got them the lead early in the game. He sits this one up. Lob. He's up with Barras, got hands on it. Shuey. Out to Marston. Williams came at him. Get a reset from the ball in. Last two meetings between these two have been in Perth. First meeting was at Blacktown when Western Sydney really was Western Sydney. Haven't played here for a while. Kelly blows one long and over Cameron's head. Butler off hands. Smith and Kelly out there. Kelly spills it. 4 metre kick for Smith. And they run it wide. Canelio kick smothered. The ricochet. Pritis attacked it but left it behind. Ward flicks it out. Shield tracks it to his own advantage. Again, found space where there wasn't any. Kelly being hunted down by Yo from behind. Got plenty on it. It's a behind.
They really need to get the next one, the Giants. The Eagles kick that first goal. Becomes an interesting contest if they concede the first couple. They've had a few opportunities, just a little bit sloppy with their use of the footy.
Either way, it'll be the Giants' best ever performance against the West Coast. They've never gotten within 13 goals of them in their 4 meetings so far, which is hard to believe. Pritis slams it into space, playing in front though Davis, but he spills it, flicks it out. The cavalry arrives. Shaw got it from Haynes. And now Ward can get and go if he wants to. He's got the overlap kick. Steve Johnson. What's Steve Johnson going to do? Even he's not sure at times. Sits it up for the Leapers. Lob, Mumford. Lob got the crumb. Scully got under that a little. Shuey's going to have to go. Patton. Hearn drops it. Danger. Canelio runs in. Could have been a free kick. No free to Butler. And Shuey held up.
He was good in the air, Luke Shuey. He needed to be. He was against Jonathan Patton. But he realised he was the only one there and he flew as high as he could to produce the spoil.
Patton a bit sore as well too behind play.
Mumford bumps Nat Nui out of it. Hutchings dragged down by Griffin. Dispossessed. And the umpires have put the whistles away at times. Brett Rosebery, Matt Stevick, David Harris. By Brett Rosebery tosses it in the air. Nat Nui, Johnson lurking. Darling takes it out. West Coast Eagles 7th on the ladder now. It could be the same win-loss ratio as the Giants if they steal this one. And still be a top 2 chance. But almost resigned to bottom 4 if they lose it.
That ball was about to come out. Big Mummy just grabbed it, dragged it back into the ruck, hugged about 3 blokes and said it's not going anywhere.
Face the footy! On the meter!
Nat Nui. Gaff flicked away. Smith tracked it.
think this is a really good test for the Giants entering the mad month that is going to be September through a final series, boys. They need this sort of challenge against the West Coast Eagles, and they need to be challenged in game like they are right now to gain this experience.
Tomlinson got it to Haynes, just bangs it inside 50. Naitanui stands under it. Mumford nearly raked it from him, and Naitanui got one there to the head.
Yeah, it's a good point, King. They play Fremantle and the Kangaroos to finish off. The Giants do. They're their opponents, and both of those sides have been struggling. The Eagles look like they're the best performer, or certainly the only finals worthy performer, I think, going into September. North Melbourne have really dropped off.
Must have just copped one in the face, Nick. That little bit of blood trickling from the nose.
Yeah, those last two. The Giants have Fremantle here, and then North Melbourne at Etihad. West Coast have Hawthorn and Adelaide. Hawthorn at Domain, Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval, last game of the year. Barras tried to get it away.
That was really interesting. The umpire looked at him, said wipe it. He wiped it with his jumper, and then the umpire had another look, saw that it wasn't flowing, and allowed him to stay out there.
Yeah, very rarely the umpire applies the rule like that. Good to see, common sense.
He's copped an elbow, an incidental elbow from Shane Mumford.
He does land a few incidental elbows, Shane Mumford. He's
Some players are good like that, Dwayne.
one of the best in the business at accidentally hurting people.
They call him Captain Risky.
Yeah.
Everywhere he goes, creates havoc.
And there's the blood. It's
Bit from the lip, perhaps.
yeah. Mumford and Naitanui go at it again. Steve Johnson on hands and knees. It's been a stalemate for the last couple of minutes.
It's been 3 full minutes. It's a long time in this area of the ground.
Canelio tried to go off the carpet. Marston bangs it around the body, gains 30-35. Pretty good kick that. Get it out of the area for the first time in a while. Naitanui from behind this time. Griffin pumps it back. Patton, Cameron both down there. McGovern crushed it away with his fist. And guess
Schofield
what?
down.
We'll get another ball in on 50 for the Giants.
Schofield got crunched in that contest.
It might be Barras.
Oh, sorry, it is Barras,
Yeah.
by McGovern. McGovern
Yeah, it
crushed
was.
him, I think.
Yeah. It was a big, heavy hit.
Took him a while to get up, but he's back up now on lob.
You can see it's not a full house here at Spotless by any stretch of the imagination. And we've had some quiet times where the fans just haven't been cheering at all.
He's still sucking them in. Barras. Oh, coming the other way. Friendly fire. It's a good spoil by McGovern.
And now Griffin hobbling is well out of that contest. Scully can't get there to possess it decisively. Trip.
It may be a gradual thing here, Dwayne, but if they keep winning GWS, I think the stands will start to fill. And we'd love to see a packed house here one day. That'd be brilliant atmosphere.
Yeah, come the finals, we might see one. We saw one a few weeks ago against the Swans Shield, but the Swans won't be playing a final here. Heads wide. They all fly off hands. Patton crunch though, but they edge closer to goal. And with each passing second, they edge closer to their first ever victory against the West Coast. Lobb doing some ruck work to give Mumford a spell. Pritis. Hasn't been a 5 minutes for the time capsule, that's for sure.
Runners, stay out of the hole.
Naitanui down to Pritis. Gets it outside 50. Haynes attacked it, couldn't complete the deal.
Oh, they're out here.
And now Darling pumps it. Shaw's the only man back.
A really poor kick.
Hill, Shaw. Shaw did well. Grabs Lacroix. Yo about to grab it. Knocked down. Still a chance. Can he feed it inside? Kept it alive. Just tapped out.
Gee, Jack Darling missed an opportunity. He belted it forward, but it favoured Heath Shaw. He actually had Hill with a simple pass out wide. Then Hill could have gone over the top to Kennedy, but just rushed the kick.
So the West Coast inside 50 for the first time in a while. Shuey, Lacroix, top of the square, little fumble. Darling blind turn, missed his handball target, still alive off the deck. Touch through.
Oh, Josh Hill
Nick of
unable to
time.
get the foot
Zach
of the ball.
Williams.
He's had a tough day, Josh Hill. Only 3 disposals, unable to get the football in. Oh, geez, and Zach Williams wanted that more.
Yep.
He had a lot of intensity. He'd be disappointed with that, Josh Hill. Needs to go harder at that ball. Game's on the line. He's had a poor day.
Yeah, it was a massive moment. You read it well, Brownie. Still a chance. Shuey goes inside to Lacroix.
Got to hit a target.
Feeds the handball out, Hutchings. Well, he went for Darling. He's got Hearn, but he fumbled it before he could get the handball away. They're 3 goals away, the West Coast, but they are also a breaking strain. If the Giants get one here, they could put them away. Lob, close to the boundary, takes it out.
Well, they won't win if they waste opportunities like that, West Coast. It's a poor kick from Hutchings and then a bad fumble from Darling. An opportunity goes begging.
Nat Nui, big thump, 30-metre thump. Darling did gather, got the handball to Tunbridge, but it was too slick. Lays the tackle. Gee, Kennedy's had his head slammed into the deck, and he hasn't moved, Kennedy. Lacroix in the meantime. It's 17 on 18. Prentice needs to finish. Straight over the goal umpire's hat and breathe some life back into it.
Hasn't moved, Wayne. Has not moved. He's in real trouble here. The doctors have rushed out to give him some attention. You can see here the sling tackle. He follows through in contact with the ground. It's really sickening blow to the head here for young Kennedy.
Well, the difficulty is, I know it looks really bad and the crowd's booing, but his left arm was free and he was still trying to get a kick to the ball. So the player's entitled to keep dragging him off. I think we were at the Adelaide Oval earlier in the year when he landed very, very heavily, Adam Kennedy. Took a nasty tumble, but this one, so he's got the left arm free and he's still trying to kick the ball, which is why I think you need to cut a bit of slack to Tunbridge for pulling him off and swinging him away from that, because he didn't want him just to dispose of the football. It wasn't like he had the ball locked to him and then had both arms tucked in so he was defenceless and slammed his head in there, if that makes sense. I just think there's mitigating circumstances there for Tunbridge.
I think you summed that up pretty well. Kennedy, at least.
Good to see him sitting up.
Yeah, up and in the hands of the trainers. They will stay with the most precautionary approach here, and that'll be on the stretch. You'd think you don't often see the manipulation like that. You see them on the stretcher and straight off before they do anything.
Hopefully his jaw's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Obviously we know he's been knocked out. Hopefully his jaw's okay for the long term. Injury status, hopefully he can get back into September, that's for sure.
Leon Cameron, Adam Simpson, 5th year in the competition for Greater Western Sydney. Leon Cameron's 3rd year as coach, as it is for Adam Simpson, his 3rd year as an AFL coach, and what a big year it is for both, as Kennedy comes off to a huge round of applause. And this game is massive for where they finish the home and away season, and what spot in the lineup they enter the finals from. Huge difference between top 2 and bottom 2 in the top 8. So it's 21 versus 22 for this last 11 and a half minutes.
Well, that's a good sign, isn't it? A little wave and a thumb up from Adam Kennedy. Much to the delight of the Giants supporters.
Okay, so an 11-point and an 11-minute game. Comes down to this. Nat Nui flies high, got a knockdown, big roll, tackle too high. Ward's free. Who can get up and running immediately? Get the momentum back their way. Cornelio out wide. Misses Griffin. Corralled. Rolls it along the deck. Gain 25. Get a ball in.
Thanks again.
Twice they've opened up 4-goal leads, the Giants.
Andrew Gaff loose at the back of the stoppage here.
West Coast Eagles threatening to gobble them up again. Kelly, he got one too high, and it'll come back. umpire deciding that wasn't play on to advantage.
He's going to give away 50 here if he's not careful, Wellingham.
Took a long time, Jace.
And the umpire said straight away, and he still hung on to it.
Every player on the ground in front of Kelly as he heads wide. Lob. Got there. Didn't have to jump for it in the end. He just read the flight of the ball better than anybody else.
Yeah, McGovern complaining to the umpire there that Jeremy Cameron was holding him while Lobb was able to step around and take the mark. Got away with it. Good forward craft there by Cameron.
Where were the other West Coast defenders, though, Brownie? Coming
Exactly.
to assist, not just relying on Jeremy to do it again.
Oh, he almost played on.
The pass, didn't he?
Had he taken a step, that would have been play on. Whilst he was outside the boundary. Gee, he struck that well. He's crushed it. And he's crushed it through. That's a ripper.
So Rory Lobb kicks his third goal, and I'll tell you how good that kick was. The moment it left his boot, he was off and running back in the middle, celebrating with teammates. That's when you know you've struck it well, Brownie.
You could hear that hit the sweet spot, couldn't you? And really, that's the old saying, cometh the moment, cometh the man. And that's as good a kick as you'll see under pressure. What he did, Jace, he went back and he kicked through the ball. Quite often under pressure we see guys don't hit it, don't kick through the ball properly. Not this time.
Been a lot of talk about the Giants getting a lot of early picks. Well, Lobb was a pick 29. Anybody could have got Rory Lobb.
Well, that's a late pick for the Giants.
Yeah, that's right.
That's tail end.
Very nice. Nat Nui, can they fight back here, the West Coast? Or are they cooked? Nat Nui to Pritis. Mumford hassles him, wings him. Three goals from the lead, the Eagles. Plenty of time left. Shield heads to the pattern one-on-one, and he got there for the chest mark.
Well done. Kept Schofield at arm's length. Used his big wingspan.
And Lobb lurking in the same pocket again. Kelly. Lobb heads back to the square.
Won't be trying anything fancy here. You'd expect him to be going long and deep.
He sits it up to the pocket. Lobb floats in, and he's got it again.
Those arms can reach so high. And he had a couple float across in front of him that missed the ball. That's a quality mark.
What he does as well, Jace, he judges the flight of the ball well, and he judges the drop zone. He never allows the ball to get past his head or get behind him. He keeps that ball in front of his eyes.
Tough angle. Wonder how firmly he kicks this one.
Well, it was a fairly evenly poised game.
Oh, banana.
Post. That's still a reasonable behind. It's even 3-goal margin. Hearn. Shuey. At breaking strain again now, the West Coast.
Oh, poor handball. Sat up. Needed to be out in front of him.
And he got away with it. McGovern to Hearn. Didn't have a lot to go too long, and he hits.
Good's the kick.
Yo, lace out. Didn't take the mark, but got manhandled.
It's a weapon they just don't use enough, Shannon Hearn.
Yeah, he's only had 13 disposals. Needed in his hands more.
Gee, sat that on Marston, and there's your hero. Lobb couldn't mark it this time, though. Sheed takes off. Plenty of time. That'll bend. That'll work. They're back in it.
Well, great finish there by Dom Sheed. Terrific effort on the left. Look at Kennedy there. Adam Kennedy was concussed earlier on.
It's a good sign that he's sitting up, and they've taken the neck brace off.
And his jaw, it doesn't look like he's holding his jaw.
Yeah.
As if that's not an issue. Concussion, obviously a factor.
Yep.
That's right. And he's not bleeding out of the mouth, which is usually a sign of a crook jaw.
And there's 2 kicks in it, and it's an 8-minute game.
He'd be disappointed, Rory Lobb, after doing all that work up forward and dropping the mark.
Nat Nui and Mumford. Nat Nui got him. Didn't look like a handball that hit the fist. Sheed pumps it back. Darling gets back. Flicked away by Tomlinson. Hill hasn't had a huge day. Shuey, he left it behind. And now he got a high tackle.
No, he led with the head. Ryan Griffin. No, he's not picking the ball up because he fumbled it behind him, turned around and led with the head. Well, maybe the replay will back up the umpire, but I thought that was a really tough decision watching it at normal speed. He should have been running into an open goal. He fumbles it, turns around, and then he ducks.
Right out at the back.
Gee, that's tough. There is high contact.
25.
Massive kick, and there's a goal in it with 7 minutes and change left.
What did you think, Brownie?
I think it was a free kick, Jace. I don't often like to disagree with you there,
No,
but I think
mate,
his body was already down there, and you know, I just think the benefit of the doubt goes to the attacking player. He was already down in that position. I think Ryan Griffin didn't make a strong enough attempt to get below his shoulder. And I think, in doubt, the umpires will always err on the side of the guy getting tackled, and it was a free kick to Shuey. Good finish.
We've talked about what it means, a win or a loss for either of these two teams. A draw could throw a curveball into it as well. There's one kick in it, 7 minutes left. Mumford and Nat Nui. It's been an awesome battle between those two. Scully can't back his way out of it, ball up.
Yeah, 37 hit-outs to Nat Nui, 33 to Mumford.
Well, it's living up to the finals preview, but it could well be. They could meet again in a month. High bomb. Haynes can't mark it, but he gathers the crumb to Williams. Hearn should get there first, and he fumbles it. The captain.
Crucial fumble.
And look at the lip from Toby Green. Wasn't a great kick from Zach Williams out of defence. Just took his eyes off it, Shannon Hearn.
Toby Green doesn't need a lot of encouragement to let you know about it. Ball back into play. Slammed down towards Gaff. Caught by Scully and dumped.
Well, this is building to an exciting climax.
And both coaches know how big it is. In some ways, premiership chances rely on this. If you don't finish top 4, you don't win flags. That's the bottom line under the current AFL system we've got.
If the Eagles can win this would be huge for their confidence.
I think the difference is, though, GWS can lose and still a good chance of fighting back into the top 4. West Coast lose, you think the top 4 hopes are gone.
Good tackle, Nat Nui on Kelly.
Look at that follow-up work. It was in the ruck contest, Nat Nui, but charged out of there to help out his ground level players. Great aggression, great intent, leading the way to his teammates.
And the palm down wasn't to a teammate, Whitfield. Cameron had a chance. McGovern tucked up against the boundary. Barras gets half a shepherd, but it's knocked out.
And it was interesting just looking at those contests there. McGovern went on to Rory Lobb and Barras has gone on to Cameron. So they're playing the hot hand. Rory Lobb's the one that looks like taking the marks. McGovern, the best aerialist for West Coast, goes on to him.
Whitfield read Nat Nui's knock, then had time to get rid of it.
Yeah, I think he was lucky there.
Pin when you got into the ground.
I thought they would have been holding the ball.
Umpire said pinned. We're going to got him to the ground.
Experienced campaigner as well, Matt Stevic.
Oh no, he had an arm free. That's holding the ball.
Green feeds it back out. Scully. Chaos ball inside 50 might work. McGovern gets back. Gaff, Pritis. Can they get it out into space? Shepherd. Play on advantage, and it is advantage. They're out.
Oh, they are out.
Cripps looks up. It's got options aplenty. Needs to pick the right one. Marston, little fumble. Sheed had a good second half. Loads up long, hoping for Kennedy. He can't get there. Ugly bounce straight through Haynes. They can tie it up. Hill to Lacroix. Knocked away. Did he get an arm? Lacroix had it, lost it. Still a chance for Hill. Hasn't had a big day. Blows his moment. Darling gets there, and he gets crunched to the ear.
Chances everywhere.
And he claimed he should have got a free in there.
Geez, a good spoil here by Whitfield.
Oh, gee, it took a bit of arm.
Did he get ball or arm?
The umpire was on the wrong side of it, though.
Took a lot of arm. Nat Nui got it out of the air. Shuey.
I'll tell you what, Nick Nat Nui's found a second lease of life. He's starting to jump and causing some problems now for Mumford at these stoppages around the ground. Look at him to jump again here.
Mumford right with him. Shuey almost too high. Broke free. Kicks it. He got the free.
Too high.
It's the officiating umpire in the centre square.
He'll go back with a kick to square it all up. Now, we speak about players under pressure in tight situations. The umpires are under pressure because every decision gets magnified. We've already had debate over
that's right.
one decision, so there's plenty of them.
6 free kicks he's received today, Luke Shuey.
Well, he does attack the ball.
Day.
He's around the ball a lot. He's had 33 possessions, the most of anyone, so he's entitled to be at the top there.
This to tie the scores. We're talking about needing a hero in this game. The Superman. He's back, and we're all square.
Ah, there he is, the Superman.
Superman, I love it.
Well done, Dwayne, but he's been fantastic. You'd have to say he's BOG at the moment. 34 disposals, 11 clearances, 20 contested possessions, and 2 goals now in this last quarter. Just have a look at this. Yes, the free kick was there.
Well,
Dylan Shield just got him a little bit high.
He sunk and ducked into it.
Okay, so we're not paying that free kick either, Jace?
Well, did they not say if you duck into tackles? He definitely bent lower at the legs to drop himself down. There's the live ladder.
That's if it's a draw. Not much changes with a draw, but a lot changes if either team get it behind here now. Griffin breaks free. Floats it long. Big fist Barras. Crushed it out of the area. Whitfield, little fumble. Pressure aplenty right now. Caught by Sheed. Had an eternity. Williams. Haynes. Steve Johnson and Butler. And we'll get a ball in with 4 minutes left. We haven't had a draw this year. We might be about to get our first.
Haven't we seen some critical fumbles already in this fourth quarter?
It's not Dewey out there as a king.
It's absolutely perfect, and I think it's almost Stevie J time.
Cornelio heads toward the square. Cameron had a piece of it, not enough of it. Big nudge out. Barras on his backside. Prentice gets it out. McGovern. Either team would take any score right now. But of course the behind turns it over to the opposition.
Plenty of space forward of the footy.
Hutchings.
It is one-on-one.
They've got the belief back the West Coast. Little 1-2 with Yo. And they'll reset for a ball in 50 from goal.
Stevie J came charging through there in the goal square of the Giants up the other end. Couldn't quite get his foot to the ball. King called it. Stevie J nearly backed him up.
Both ruckman tie up again. Mumford kept his composure. Ward likewise. Smith, no one to go too long, goes wide. Patfull takes off. He's got the Stevie J one-on-one. Schofield, Stevie, half held. Schofield to boundary. Good battle.
This wasn't a great kick there by Joel Patfull.
It wasn't.
Stevie J screaming, and the rest of the fans screaming as well for a free kick, but could have been a better kick there, and Stevie J would have been able to mark the ball uncontested.
Lysette entrusted with the ruck work. Nat Nui getting a little spell. Cornelio pokes it back. Lob, can he get there for the ruck, for the big mark attempt?
Need to mark
Dumped
that,
out by Schofield. He could have marked it.
That's pressure as well.
In all seriousness, this is where they're really dangerous. Forward 50 stoppages, the best stoppage team in the competition right now, the GWS Giants. Just have a look at Stevie J hit this at pace.
Yep.
Whitfield just holding off, and Ryan Griffin on the move.
Nat Nui back in the ruck. Shuey flicks it out. Yo. A roller from Gaff. Oh, little fumble, Prentice. And he was almost away.
12 clearances now to Shuey. Next most on the ground is Dylan Shield with 7.
He's played some game, hasn't he, Luke Shuey? 21 of his 35 possessions contested.
Whitfield slams on the boot. Steve Johnson and Schofield wins that battle again.
Tell you what, King, he's giving you a look, Stevie J. He's put himself in the game the last 2 or 3 minutes.
It's just a preview. It's coming, Brownie. It's coming.
It's a finals preview, all right, and we're about to see which team handles this pressure the best. Shuey.
Again.
Sure. They got the extra man back. Schofield.
Really good positioning. Butler went on to Stevie Johnson, freed up Will Schofield as the loose, and he sat in the hole.
Well, you'd love to be the hero right now, but you don't want to be the villain. Yo takes the mark. Sidestep on Whitfield.
Oh,
dangerous kick. It might work. Gaff got there, feeds it out. Can they grab the lead? Hutchings, who does he want? Short pass. Over the head of Hill, hits the deck, ugly bounce. Ward the sidestep, just scrambles a kick away. We're down to 2 minutes and scores a level. Devon Smith turns it over. Yo, Shuey, short, Hill told to go. Inside kick, Lacroix, thumped away. Haynes, Shaw, and he bangs it long. Green's going to have to go. Whitfield went 2. Stolen by Green and he's away. Any score right now might win it. He rolls it in front of Cameron. Hunted down by Barras. Cameron, can he score?
He's missed everything.
It's on the full.
Oh, no.
And it's a West Coast Eagles ball with 1:30 left.
Just needed a score. It was a really clever kick there by Toby Green.
It was. You would have backed Jeremy Cameron with pace to do something there.
Barras waited for it. Thumped away. Any score here. Surely any score. The biggest score of all from Lobb. He's got 4.
He's had a big day, 15 disposals, 4 goals now. Kicked a huge goal earlier on in this quarter.
What about the short pass out of defence, Brownie?
Yeah, not sure about that one. Under pressure, just get it out of there, Jace.
Good spoil from Jeremy Cameron.
It was a really strong spoil. Didn't give away the free kick either. And a really good attack on the ball by Tom Scully. Able to keep the head there. Jeremy Cameron could have blazed away, just thinking any score will do. But sized up the moment nicely. Over to Rory Lobb. Good effort there by Cameron to spoil the ball and then contribute to the goal assist.
Well, it's great to see Adam Kennedy up and about watching on the boundary line. I've got a feeling from the reaction that Chris Marsden expected Barras to come towards him and not stand there waiting for the footy.
Not over yet. A goal to tie it up. I need 7 points to win it. They get it forward. Can they get a mark? Off hands. Cripps attacks it. He's hunted down. Didn't want to go for goal. Goes to the pocket. Opens it up by Hill.
Oh,
but a goal can win it for them.
That is a dangerous point.
A goal could win it for them. How big is this kick in?
Well, if they can hit a couple of short targets, it's all over. But if they have to kick long to a contest, they will be very, very nervous.
Sure.
Giants are loading up. The side close to camera here.
He's got the experience and he drives it. Nat Nui, Mumford, Nat Nui missed it. Mumford, no high free. Umpires have put the whistle away. Good smother. And we'll get a ball in with 40 seconds left. And the West Coast a goal from the lead.
Mummy complaining to the umpire there, saying, where's the free kick? Got the elbow on the chin.
Rory Lobb loose in defence. He's the extra tall back. They're sending a couple of extras back.
The flick back, Shuey couldn't quite trap it. Nearly had his legs taken out.
No one to kick to.
Whitfield.
Clever.
Schofield. Let it get behind him. Butler gets back. Stevie J tried to go off the carpet. Well played, Butler. Got it to Schofield. Run down. Got a handball away. Last roll of the dice for the West Coast. Nat Nui to Gaff. To Cripps. Bangs it long. Can it carry the pack? Was Kennedy held?
No. Good decision.
Just had a rush above there, Cripps. He needed to handball it off. He had a runner on the inside of him.
8
Would have been able to have a shot on goal.
Got to bring the ball straight down if you're GWS. You don't want it clearing the contest. Straight down.
A goal and they win it.
That's where you
Nat
want it.
Nui, he gets the kick.
Oh, he has!
Oh, my goodness. Is this one to remember? Absolute madness in the West Coast Eagles box. They will never, ever forget this win. And Nat Nui has signalled to the competition, I'm back from injury, and you better look out come September.
I can't believe my eyes, Dwayne. That is one of the most unbelievable finishes you will ever see. Look at all the Eagles players getting together, maybe their season's back on track now, Jace. Is this the spark they need?
That's a huge win. I thought they got the tap that they wanted straight down the ground, but Nick Natanui just out-muscled his opponent, whoever the other GWS player was at ground level. He picked it up clean as a whistle, threw it on the left boot a second before the siren.
What about the agility?
Unbelievable. David King is hightailing it out there to get the hero. And here he is with Nick Natanui.
Nick, I know you're out of oxygen, mate. You're out. The tanks ran dry, but what an amazing finish. What an amazing moment. You understand how long there was to go. What was going through your mind?
Big effort for myself and Scotty. Big Rory Locke got a hold of us up forward, and Big Mummy did his job. So credit to our boys sticking in for 4 quarters. So it's a good finish.
How'd you maintain the faith here? The game looked gone halfway through. That they just kept coming, didn't you?
Timmo just came out at 3/4 time and said attack, attack, attack. Beat them at what they do best as well. So we did it, and like I said, we're pretty lucky to get away with it in the end.
I know it's not going through your mind right now, but do you feel like this is the sort of win you need to kickstart the finals campaign?
It is. These next 3 games, obviously the Hawks and Adelaide, those guys are going to be up there in finals. So we'll see where we're at with the next couple of games.
What about yourself, mate? Fitness, you look a bit buggered right now.
Yeah, I'm stuffed, mate. As you always get that after a long break off, but I'll get there.
Good on you, mate. Well done. Fantastic finish.
Mate. Cheers.
Top 2 still available for the West Coast Eagles, and they continue their unbeaten run against the Giants. Catch your breath. Amazing finish. The West Coast Eagles by a point.
This has been a Fox Footy production, part of the Fox Sports Network.